Hello! My name is Marcus Stewart. Welcome to another episode of Carving Gaming Rushmores. And today I am joined by not two, but three people. We have a jumbo size 4-person episode because when you add one to something, it makes it jumbo size. And one of those people is Miss Naomi Lugo.
Hello.
We've got Mr. Zak Wojnar.
Hello there.
Did I say your last name right this time?
It was very close, so yes.
Okay, we'll give it a 90%.
Yeah, you get a 90. A minus.
Got sweet. And the last person, we've got Mr. Jack Gardner.
Hey!
Hey! And the reason I have brought these three together is because we are all going to E3 2018 together.
Uh-huh.
We are all flying to Los Angeles. We are making the grand pilgrimage that every game journalist and personality has to make so that we can spawn like salmon. You know, we go back to our birthplace to, raise our new generation.
This analogy is going way too far.
Well, it's a great analogy. I like salmon.
I don't know about that.
Okay. You know, wait, that's salmon.
I don't know how much spawning goes on at E3. I mean, it is a bunch of nerds.
It
You'd
depends
be
where you go.
surprised.
Yeah, it depends where you go after the show floor ends. But regardless.
Anyway.
But yeah, we'll
talk about that after.
Damn it.
The ADD has begun early.
We're off the rails.
Odell's not even here tonight.
He's off looking at Midna in her final form.
Oh, God. But yeah, we're all going to E3. We're actually going to be covering the event for Extra Life. So you guys should stay tuned for that. Go to extralife.com. Watch all that good stuff when we go.
Heck yeah.
And what we're going to... Heck yeah. And so I thought tonight, before we go, we're going to be predicting what's going to go on in E3. But we're going to be predicting the only way that you can on this show. We are going to be sharing our own personal predictions and debating which ones are, or at least that we feel are the most likely to happen. So yeah, if you're first time watching the show, that's what we do here in Carving Gaming Rushmores. Every show we focus on a particular topic. Could be the 4 best times that Spider-Man said something really, really funny in a video game. It could be every time in a Madden game, the 4 best times that the football itself was rendered in a really exceptional manner. That would be the most boring episode in the history of podcasting.
I don't want to sign up for that one, just to let you know.
It's too late. I got you penciled in already. But yeah, and what we do is we present our individual nominees, and then from those nominees, we debate which of the 4 of those are the 4 premier examples of that. We put it on our Mount Rushmore, so to speak. So E3 2018, it's about a month away from now, a few weeks, and this is an interesting show where we're about 5 years into this generation, or 1 year into the Switch's life cycle. Kind of a weird transitional period, at least to me, and I don't know. This was hard. I feel like a lot of things could happen, but this was a really hard show for me to come up with predictions. I'm curious to see what you guys are. Yeah, a little bit. When I was really, really thinking about it, I came up with a lot of, at least blanks in terms of like coming up stuff that felt credible. But credible, but not obvious. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I probably have all the obvious ones, though. I brought it.
Yeah, like I was trying to reach without reaching too far, so... But, we'll see. So, let's kick this off. And I have already taken the liberty of deciding at random beforehand the order in which we will go. And Mr. Zak, you drew the first straw. Okay. So, share your first prediction with us.
Okay, well, my first one, I'm gonna fire the big gun first. This is something
that's me cocking the gun.
That I have wanted for so long. I haven't wanted it as long as some people have wanted it. Is the first hint. Okay. Some people have been waiting for this game for well over a decade.
Oh, they already announced Metroid Prime 4.
No.
Okay.
No, Metroid Prime ended. There's Metroid Prime 4, it's a new Metroid Prime. This is unfinished business.
Okay.
And the character is back in a pretty big way. He disappeared. everyone got really mad at the publisher for not, celebrating practically their mascot. And long story short, it's Mega Man Legends 3.
Oh, okay.
You think they'll bring that back?
That is a long shot.
It's a long shot, but it's my big gun. It's what I...
you could say it's your arm cannon.
It's my art. It's more like my white whale at this point. I have written multiple stories at Screen Rant where I've found a way to include Mega Man Legends 3 in like forgotten mascots and canceled games that need to come back, and indeed E3 predictions. I think 2 years ago. Okay. The game was announced for 3DS way back in, I think it was 2010. And that was 8 years, at least, or what was it, 2000?
For 2?
Yeah.
Like 99 or 2000.
I believe it was 2000. And so a full decade later, they announced Part 3, and it was like, oh, wow. They're really listening to their fans. And then months later, like under a year or so, canceled.
Yep.
With no foreshadowing. It was, Keiji Inafune left Capcom, and they canceled Mega Man Legends 3 and Mega Man Universe, which was Little Big Planet.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, it was Little Big Planet before Little Big Planet.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that they had asked the fans to contribute to 3's development and had that whole, like, forum website thing where people were designing enemies and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and they were going to put out a free version of the game.
There was a demo that was going to happen, basically.
Yeah, it was like before they started doing... I mean, they've had betas, going back forever. But this was like a really big... It was a big push of like Mega Man Legends 3 is back. And then it disappeared as though it had never been there at all. And more years went by. And just, what was it, 2 years ago? They put out Mega Man Legends 1 and The Misadventures of Tron Bonne, and finally Mega Man Legends 2 on the PlayStation Network. For PS3 and Vita.
So you think that's kind of like, you think that was an interest-gauging move?
Well, I think that it was, to some degree, done to gauge interest. It was also to cover their own butts, because... without spoiling the ending of Mega Man Legends 2, it's an ending that gets more and more painful the more time passes.
Yeah. It ends on a cliffhanger, basically.
Yeah. And just the very last line in the game is, you'll just have to wait a little bit longer.
Until this year. At least according to...
Until this year. It's going to happen.
Okay.
And why do you think that?
Because Mega Man is back. For the past few years, starting with, I guess, when
9?
he popped up in Super Smash Brothers.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I'd say probably even before that, like, Mega Man 9.
Well,
and 10.
9 and 10, when were those? Those were like 2007, 8?
Like later, like, for like 9 and 10, I think.
Well, Mega Man 9 didn't even have PlayStation trophies. So it was like 7 or 8. It was early.
Okay.
And they did 9... Yeah, they did 9 and 10, and then they just stopped.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, and now finally they announced 11 right after they put out the Legacy Collections, which are great for people who are fans of Mega Man. And this is where I get peeved, because I'm not a fan of Mega Man. I'm a fan of Mega Man Legends.
See what okay.
Like, when they announce a new Mega Man, I don't really care that much. It's Mega Man. It's fine. But if it's Mega Man Legends, that's a whole other beast. I think there are a lot of people who like... Just like how there are lots of Mega Man fans who couldn't care less about Mega Man Legends, there are fewer, admittedly, people like me who love Mega Man Legends and just couldn't care less about almost all other Mega Man media. Unless they announce that, unless it comes out that the story has like some kind of hidden crossover that like directly sets up the events of Mega Man Legends. Because I think Mega Man Legends is supposed to be like way at the end of the timeline, if they're all connected, which is something that some people I'm sure talk about on wikis and Reddit.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Capcom to release the Mega Man historian to finally confirm that.
And Timeline A and Timeline B.
Yeah, well, like Mega Man X5, like it splits the timeline depending on what you do.
Yeah, like I've never played a Mega Man X game. I've played a couple. Ooh, Mega Man at the X Games. Let's put a pin in that.
No.
Mega Man snowboarding. Well, they did Mega Man soccer.
All right,
but
my only question to you is it still on 3DS?
Also, I can't picture what Mega Man Legends would look like with modern graphics.
It would look almost the same.
In my head. That's where I imagine it as still being like a blocky polygonal game, even if it was updated.
That's the thing, is that Mega Man Legends visually has aged really well. It's got those blocky character models, but with animated textures instead of like moving, animation rigs on their faces. Mm-hmm. It's flat textures that emote, and they hold up really well. Playing that game, which is 20 years old today, feels out of time. Like, it's one of those very rare, especially for that era, games that the visuals don't feel of their era. They feel timeless. Like a sprite-based game. Because it does have the sprites on top of, I don't know if you call them sprites, but those flat textures on top of polygons.
Okay. So, Mega Man Legends 3.
So like that, but, prettier.
Okay. I would want that.
Me too.
I love those games. So, if I don't, we'll get into whether or not I think it'll happen later, but like, I am on board with the idea of it. So, yeah. Alrighty, Mega Man Legends 3.
Right, and just one last note. They did Mega Man Legacy Collection. They're doing Mega Man X Legacy Collection, or whatever they're calling it. If they don't do at least a modern port of the classic games, then a lot of people will take that as a personal insult.
I don't know about a lot of people, but people will take it. There are some people that will take it as an insult.
Yeah, I guess that's always been Mega Man Legends' problem, is that not a lot of people care. But I think enough of them do. Enough of them do.
Yeah. Vocal minority.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, Naomi, you are number 2.
All right. I bet you could probably guess which franchise I'm going to go to.
Call of Duty.
That's funny. No. So I'm going to go with Pokemon RPG. That we are going to get a solid release date and some gameplay trailers from Nintendo during their press conference. So E3 2017, we got bare minimum information. They were basically just like, oh, by the way, we're going to make a Switch Pokemon RPG game. And Pokemon fans being Pokemon fans, we all kind of ran with that and have been speculating out our asses, and I'm all for that. So it looks like we could potentially get it at the end of 2018, though I'm not going to put my bet on that. I'm going to put my bet that it's going to be sometime 2019, maybe spring 2019. So yeah. And given we've seen reboots of absolute classics like Zelda with Breath of the Wild and Mario with Odyssey, I think it's going to have some sort of graphic overhaul. I don't think it's going to look quite as beautiful as those games, but I think, or at least I'm really, really hoping that Nintendo is going to bring it with something with an open world Pokemon game, because God damn it, it is time. We need that game. So
Also,
It'd be great if it still looked like a DS game.
oh god, don't you curse us, Marcus.
They're like, you guys wanted Pokemon on console. We literally put Pokemon on console. That's all we did.
Oh man, I mean, we would still buy it. So
I would like to make a further clarification of that prediction. I predict that you are going to be correct, but also that they are only going to include the first gen of Pokemon in that open world game.
which I mean, that's a very real possibility.
Do you mean in the sense of like almost like a reboot of Red and Blue?
Basically here's what I have thought that they're gonna do with Pokemon. They're gonna basically have the first region from Red and Blue, and then they're gonna expand the world with like either downloadable packs or like future releases. They're gonna expand it into the other regions piecemeal.
Okay, so you don't think it's going to be like a brand new, like new region, new roster?
Not
of Pokemon
new
for
region,
this?
but just new game style, pretty much.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Kind of like Breath of the Wild. We're still seeing a lot of we're seeing a lot of the old pieces, but they're in a new skin kind of thing. That sounded kind of creepy, but yeah.
Okay.
Does Pokemon Switch have real-time combat?
I'm gonna say yeah. I think they have to, but knowing Nintendo, I think that's a wild card.
I
at
can
least
see it
in my
looking
opinion.
kind of like Ni no Kuni.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing actually.
I mean,
but
it's
better,
pretty much
or-
the same thing.
Yeah, Ni no Kuni 2, maybe.
Yeah.
I played a little of that at E3 last year. I wasn't super impressed. Is it good?
I haven't played it, but everyone seems to think it's better.
Okay.
So, we'll see. But okay, Pokemon RPG, full reveal. This is a weird thing, but I'm almost as interested just to know what it's called. Like, what are they going to call it?
Oh God, something dumb.
I mean,
it
it can't be as bad as Gale of Darkness XD.
I almost want them to just call it Pokemon. Like, just that.
That'd be
like,
cool.
Just
That'd be
like a
bold.
definitive statement. Like, this is
Yeah.
just the Pokemon game.
Pokemon.
So,
Next gen. Oh, see, I'm doing it.
Pokemon Extreme.
God.
Pokemon Kiwami.
alrighty. Jack, you're third, man. What you got?
I'm gonna go with possibly the mildest of predictions. I think we're gonna get a Death Stranding release date,
Oh my
and
God.
we're actually gonna see like gameplay and stuff.
Say that again,
you say
Jack. Say it again.
We're gonna get a Death Stranding release date.
When you say release date, do you mean release window or like an actual like October 15, 20, whatever?
I think we're gonna get a release date, and that eventually it will be pushed back. But I think we're gonna get one.
And what is that
that's
release
fair.
date?
Oh gosh, I'll just pull that out of my butt. I'm gonna guess it's not gonna be this year. It's gonna be next year, March 4th. March 11th.
Hell of a day.
Okay, push it back a week for extra polish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was going to be the 4th, and then they delayed it.
March 11th is a Monday.
Yep.
I very much want
Yep.
this to be accurate.
I like the
It's
assurance
a-
there.
Yeah, it's a weird date, but the game is weird and Kojima's weird. So maybe he's
Except
trying to,
that's the day that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to get pushed to after it gets delayed out of 2018.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I've already pegged it. It's going to be May, actually. It's going to get pushed to March and then pushed one more time to May. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah. All right. So, Death Stranding. I'm writing these down. Release date. In parentheses, March 11th, 2019. So, if it does not happen, if they reveal the date but it's not March 11th, then it doesn't count.
Will the Death Stranding
we
trailer...
gotta make Jack do something embarrassing, right? If you're wrong, Jack, you gotta do something weird.
You have to cosplay as naked Norman Reedus and his baby.
Oh, that is not happening. Not
You're gonna have to
even a little.
find a baby in the street and clutch it in your arms like he did.
Oh, God.
And then,
Well, we don't want Jack to get arrested, guys. God.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about legal, but it'd be frowned upon severely.
Yeah, by the law.
Okay, so my turn finally. And I'm going to start with not a game announcement to kind of change things up, but kind of a general platform announcement. I think that Sony will announce that we can change our PSN screen names.
Yes.
Oh, that is a very
solid.
specific. Okay.
Because I feel like, because I don't know if you remember
PSX?
at PSX last year, Sean Layden, when he was being interviewed, discussed that when he was asked, and he, more than any other time in kind of like Sony's history of being presented with that question, he at least made it sound like that it was already in the works or would be in the works. He basically his statement was something like, you know, hopefully by this time next year you won't have to ask me that question. So it was like, okay.
All right.
And so and there was also a survey that went out in February from Sony about name changes to, I guess, you know, to fans or whoever. So it's definitely something that they're looking at. Now, whether or not they do it is very much up in the air, but I think that I'm going to go ahead and say that they will do it. And, you know, the tricky thing is when they'll announce it, because they have 3 events. They have this, they have Paris Game Show, and they have PSX. I would like to think they would kind of go full circle and announce it at PSX this year, but I think that they will at least announce it at E3 and maybe roll it out around PSX time, depending on how. It would be great if they said, like, oh, we could do it, and it's live now, you know? So, but I'm going to go conservative. Like, they'll announce it, and then it'll roll out later in the year. But I think that they're going to finally give people what they want in that regard.
Okay.
I mean,
So, yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna do that. Giving people what they want—that's not what game console platforms are for.
Yeah, that's not what put them in the lead this generation. So, yeah. What am I thinking? They're insane.
That could be like a 5-second announcement. In addition to this, in addition to our PlayStation Plus price hike or whatever, not to be pessimistic, we also want to say, you know, it'll soften the blow. That's a great thing. If they say something bad, they can say that afterwards.
Honestly, I could see that getting as big of a reaction or bigger than most gamers, because that's something people have been wanting for a good 10 years.
Gosh,
So,
they have
I can
lowered
see
the bar
Sean
for us, haven't
Layden
they?
saying it and then putting his hands up and just being like, okay, let me just soak it in, and then going, okay, calm down, we've got to get to the rest of the show.
he's going to wear a t-shirt that just has like one screen name on the front, and then he turns around and has a new screen name, and that's how he announces it.
Yeah, the front will be like Doogie Howser 69, and then the back will be
He's
something.
like, this was my old... Yeah, he's like, this was my old one, and now here's my new one.
Mr. Layden.
And guess what? Now you can too. So, alrighty. Next round. Zach, what's your second prediction?
Okay. I'm torn between a mainstream one and an outlier. Although I think this one's actually more likely than Mega Man Legends. It's my favorite Western video game.
Gun.
Nope.
Red Dead?
Nope.
Are we talking about like literal like genre Western or
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was
geographical?
thinking.
Yeah, you're on the right track.
Because the latter is kind of a big
Wild
pretty
Arms.
broad.
We're done.
Oh, come on. There's only one left, and it's not Sunset Riders.
Call of Juarez?
Yes.
Nice,
Okay.
nice, Marcus.
I love Call of Juarez. I played Red Dead Redemption, and I thought it was pretty good. It's one of those games that just did not resonate with me as much as it seemed to resonate with literally everybody else. And I love Westerns. I mean, The Wild Bunch is in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. And there's a lot of direct homage to The Wild Bunch in Red Dead Redemption. But I don't know, just didn't grab me. But Call of Juarez Bound in Blood did. And that's one of the greats. That is a straightforward, linear, first-person shooter with a great story and compelling characters and all of that good stuff. But it's actually the sequel to Call of Juarez from 2005 or something that I didn't play until I got an Xbox last year. It was worth the wait. Then the series kind of fell out of favor with The Cartel. And I even like that one, and it's terrible. That's how much I like these games. Is that is not a good game, and I played through it like 4 times. But then they brought it back with The Gunslinger, which I thought was great.
That game is great.
Yeah, that's the only one that I've played to completion was Gunslinger.
It's very different from the other ones, but the narrator is so... That's the way they turn that into a gameplay mechanic. The way the levels change based on his recollections, where you start fighting Indians at one point, and then he says, I mean, they weren't Indians, they just fought like Indians. They were actually bandits, and then they change, and they go from bow and arrow to rifles, and stuff like that. So cool. And those games were recently delisted. Were recently delisted from digital stores. And I think they came back on Steam, but they're still delisted on PlayStation and Xbox.
Actually, Gunslinger is back on Xbox. At the time, because I was writing a news story for it, it was not on PlayStation. I don't know if that's still the case, but it is back on Xbox.
Okay. So it was one of those things where when it was delisted, everyone was like, oh, I guess they're done with that. But then like, no, it's still there. So whatever happened, I don't know.
Oh, what it was is that Ubisoft was... Because Ubisoft published those games originally, and Techland developed them, but since Gunslinger, Techland formed their own publishing arm, and Ubisoft was transferring the rights to Techland. So Techland owns the series again, because they started the series, and now they have it back, basically.
Oh, that's awesome.
So during that process... Yeah, so during that process, that's when they got delisted. So now that it's done, they put them back up.
That's great. Well, so so Techland, their last game was Dying Light, which was a few years ago now. Although it's apparently done so well for them that they've been supporting it with add-on content for years now.
I think they're going to have a sequel coming out pretty soon for that.
Oh,
I hope
maybe
so.
They'll announce that. But like the fact that they were willing to get that they got the rights back to Call of Juarez means that they've got it in their pocket. Mm-hmm. Maybe it won't pop up this year, but
so you're saying that they'll, like, at the very least tease a new Call of Juarez, or like just straight up say like, hey, we're working on a new one. It's nowhere near like ready to show, but we are working on a new one.
Well, I didn't know that they had their own publishing. Did they? Who published Dying Light?
That's Techland.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they just did it themselves.
Wow, and that game was so successful. Good for Techland.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see them... I mean, they wouldn't have their own press conference because, like, it'd
probably be one of those announcements that just kind of come out during the week.
But they could pop up... yeah, exactly. And just be like, hey, we've got... These are our IP. We've got this, that, and Dying Light... What else do they have? Dying Light. They did Dead Island, but they don't have that anymore. Because Dying Light is that but better.
Hmm.
And we've got a new Call of Juarez. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay. I could be down for that, especially if it's I mean, I don't know if you could do Gunslinger again because it was kind of a novelty, but I after playing Gunslinger, I am more inclined to be interested in to see what a new Call of Juarez is.
I would prefer something like Bound in Blood, or with like a straightforward, like film noir Old West style. But Gunslinger was so good, like so much better than I was expecting, and it still had that core, flavor of Call of Juarez that I was kind of worried wouldn't be there anymore with the new comic book style aesthetic.
Yeah.
I would even Cartel. It was not a bad idea to bring the series into the present. Like modern day westerns are cool. They just did it really, really badly.
Yeah.
I don't know what went wrong with that game, so I don't think that they would want to go back and try it again. even though I think that there's a lot of untapped potential there. I think that for fans of the series, that's the last thing that a lot of people want.
Okay.
But it'll happen.
I can dig it. New Call of Juarez.
Call of Juarez.
We'll just call it that. Gotcha. All right, Naomi.
All right. So
lay it on us.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to get a 2018 holiday release that will eventually be delayed. And we're going to see the addition of either a Star Wars or a Marvel world.
Ooh.
Bam.
So are you saying, so you're predicting they'll ship it for this holiday? Like that'll be
the goal.
Like okay. And then like the second kind of like punch is New World, either
Star Wars or Marvel.
That was actually my prediction as well. However, I think it's going to get both Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah, I think that's likely.
And I would have agreed with you. It was an either-or situation, except that I know that in a canceled Kingdom Hearts spin-off game, there was going to be a Star Wars section. And I think with Marvel being as big as it is now on Infinity War, they're going to have a Marvel section in there.
Yeah, I can see that.
So is Jack, that's literally, you had this exact same thing?
Yeah, literally I had the exact same thing. Minus the holiday release, I think we're going to be looking at a release next year.
Like I said, holiday date, delay till next year.
But see, okay, but they're gonna come out and reaffirm this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I guess you both have taken your turns with your...
Wait, is it a secret what the canceled Kingdom Hearts game was?
No, it was, I think it was like on iOS or something.
Oh, it wasn't Birth by Sleep Volume 2.
No, it was,
no, I don't, they didn't own Lucasfilm at that time yet either.
It was a game from back in 2015, so.
Okay, if it's mobile, then I'm glad it got canceled. But Birth by Sleep, I didn't play that until the 2.5 collection, and it immediately became my favorite Kingdom Hearts.
Wow, okay.
It's a really good... I played it on PSP at the time and loved it, so I can only imagine it's better with a controller.
Yeah, I loved it.
I have not played any Kingdom Hearts games. I'm ashamed.
None?
Oh, really? You had a Kingdom Hearts prediction?
Not
played the game.
Well, I mean, it's hard to ignore Kingdom Hearts.
I mean, it is. That amuses me.
I actually have a PlayStation 3 copy of Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 Remix.
That title, oh my god!
Not
you don't have 2.8 final drop mix.
It's hard to keep up with all those decimals.
There's only 8 games, guys. Keep up.
I don't know
Not
which one has
mobile.
3.5. Which one has 358 over 2?
That's 1.5.
Oh, 1 point.
And it's as a movie though.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one with the cutscenes from the DS game Chain Birth Memory thing.
Oh my god.
Okay. Which one has Goofy?
358 over 2 days. Come on, get it straight.
That's how you pronounce it, not 352 and a half. You know, that's dumb. which is what I called it for like a solid year when it came out until somebody smartened me up and I was like, that's fucking dumb.
358 halves.
I was like, it's clearly a fraction, but okay. Anyway,
that is clearly a fraction, sir.
I've seen some fractions. I've seen fractions in my day. That is one of them.
358 over 2, 169. Oh, I shouldn't have done the math because I did it wrong.
Shame.
So it's okay. Alrighty. So I guess Jack, that'll be your second one too. For my next one, since you brought up Marvel anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and say this is so I don't know if you guys heard, this just came out I think yesterday that Square is doing a press conference for the first time in a few years. I think 2015 E3 was the last year that they did one. So that Kingdom Hearts thing will probably happen because, like, you know, if they're doing a press conference, they've got some crap to show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think one of those things is that we'll finally get the full-on reveal of the Avengers game that Crystal Dynamics is working on. Yes.
Yeah.
If you aren't familiar, listening to it, Crystal Dynamics is working on a Marvel game because it came out, I think, was it last year, that Marvel and Square Enix have signed kind of a multi-game deal with each other.
It was a real short teaser.
Yeah, very short teaser. You can look it up on YouTube. It's pretty much just a bunch of still images of the kind of the OG Avengers weapons and crap. But other than that, we've gotten no details in terms of like what kind of game it is. There was a job posting that went around that kind of people picked apart, kind of determining what it might be, and the general thought is that it might be some sort of like Destiny-ish shared world online third-person thing, but that's only going by what they're hiring for. That could, and those hirings could be for other Marvel projects, because this won't be the only game that they're doing. But I think that looking at Square Enix's upcoming plate with, like this year we have Shadow of the Tomb Raider, we've got Kingdom Hearts 3 allegedly, Final Fantasy VII Remake at some point, and then the Avengers is kind of like the big kind of mysterious thing that they have not really shown. And I think if they're doing a press conference, that seems like something you would show at the end. Not to mention Infinity War being the hit that it is right now. Like, it would seem foolish to me to not capitalize on that Avengers momentum right now. Like, hey, by the way, we're making a game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And here it is. Yeah, so like, if there was a year to finally give that its coming out party, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a solid point.
Yep. So that's kind of it. We're gonna see what that game finally is at Square Enix's press thing.
Solid prediction.
Alrighty.
Wait, so who is Crystal Dynamics not doing Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
No, they are. This is like I think it's another team in Crystal.
Oh, they've got a B team.
Yeah, they've gotten bigger over the years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm interested to see what that is. Very much so, actually.
I like how you use me as an excuse to talk about Marvel as if you needed one.
Yeah, I mean, it's your fault for saying it next.
Oh yeah, totally, it's my fault, right?
I didn't tell you to pick your prediction.
He was gonna go with Civ 7, but
yeah, and then I hastily scribbled it out. I was like, oh crap. Alrighty, Zach, back to you. What's your third one?
Okay, my third one is if Naomi gets to do Pokemon, which was announced last year with some guy going, we're going to do Pokemon. If you go back 3 years, you can see some guy on YouTube saying, we're going to do Resident Evil 2.
That's right.
I
do remember that.
I have it on my phone right. It's August 2015 that was announced.
Wow.
Yes.
And the announcement.
Wow.
Yeah.
It has skipped every E3 since, and I know because I've been keeping tabs on that game.
And it's been completely silent. And, for... What was it? Last year... I guess last year they could have... No, they couldn't do it last year because they were still in the game of selling Resident Evil 7. That was the long play for them. Like, they were selling that game until the Not a Hero DLC came out. So they didn't want to take away from that. But it's been 3 years. They've got something by now.
I mean, this would be the year to do it now that the hoopla around 7 has died off.
7 has settled. Although I still haven't played any of the DLC. I gotta get around to that one of these days. But it's time. We gotta know, is it gonna be first person? Is it gonna be over the shoulder? Is it gonna be fixed camera? We don't know anything. All we know is that they're not gonna have the actor for Claire.
Oh really? Not even the lady. Was it the same actress that did her in Revelations 2?
No. It was the same actress did her from the very beginning, from Resident Evil 2 all the way up through just before, I guess through the movie.
Okay. So you don't even think it'll be the Revelations 2 actress we'll just come back for?
I suppose it could be her, but I think that there was something about the voice actor strike.
Oh, okay. Well, that's over now, but she's allowed to work again.
Yeah. But it's something,
so.
It's something weird, like it had been in development.
Unless she just doesn't like money or something, but she's allowed to come back.
Or
now.
she said she hadn't been asked, and if they found someone else already, it might be counterproductive, or if they're doing motion capture or something.
They replaced her with Rihanna DeVries.
Who?
That's a Life is Strange Before the Storm joke.
Okay.
She's the one that replaced
the new Chloe. Yeah. I haven't played Before the Storm yet.
She's just the designated replacement actress.
God.
But I think didn't everyone get recast for Resident Evil 6?
I don't remember. I try not to think about that game in general. So I have no idea.
But whatever happens, it's time that we know. It's time that they pull back the curtain. This is the next Resident Evil game. Resident Evil 8 will be huge whenever they decide to do that, but it's like people asking for Final Fantasy 16. It's like, no, you're not going to get Final Fantasy 16 for 8 years. Final Fantasy 7 is the next Final Fantasy.
You're going to get 16 Final Fantasy 15s before we get to the actual 16.
Oh, there's not going to be a 15 part 2.
I'm not totally convinced.
I'm not either.
If recent comments are any suggestion.
Well, I thought they said that the Noctis DLC, episode Noctis, was going to be the end. Or was there something without spoiling anything?
It'll never end.
Nope.
I mean, I don't know if it's the creative director, but someone up there flat out said that the story isn't really over, at least in that world or something like that.
Until they have a new game.
Absolutely not.
Like they said something that suggested that they are totally interested in doing a sequel to that game.
Oh boy.
So whether or not it involves Noctis or
it's
not.
I can see lightning peeking over the horizon being like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Here's a prediction for that. They're going to have a crossover with Lightning coming into 15 somehow.
Oh, they're obsessed with Lightning. I don't get what Lightning Mania is all about. She's fine.
To be fair, she's one of the best parts of an otherwise mediocre series.
Is she?
I mean, to me, especially her party that she's in, she's easily the best party member next to Fang.
I like that.
Yeah. She's got pink hair.
She is surrounded. She is surrounded by a bunch of losers. So she stands out pretty.
Yeah, I think that's really what she's got going for her. Although Hope got cool in 13-2, but then they made him a kid again in Lightning Return.
Did he?
What a mess. Yeah, he was cool. I was shipping them.
Okay.
Hope and Lightning, and then they made him a kid again in Lightning Returns, and I'm like, you think that's going to stop me from shipping them? You can't stop the ship.
That's what I say every day. Stop the ship. That's what I play. Whenever I play Sea of Thieves, that's my motto.
Remind me never to get on a ship with you.
Can't stop the ship.
Yeah. Don't get on a ship with him or be part of it.
It'll take an iceberg to stop this ship.
So
too soon.
So you're saying Resident Evil 2 would get its full coming out?
It gets the full treatment. It gets a CG trailer, and then it gets a trailer that people care about.
Gotcha. So you got the Capcom hot takes.
Huh.
At least 2 of them. 2 of your 3.
Yeah.
So that's a majority. So okay, Resident Evil 2 remake. Naomi, what's your third?
Dino Crisis 4. No, just kidding.
Well, this was going to be my 4th, but since we already talked about it, probably another one you could predict for me as well. I predict that we are going to get something expanding the Final Fantasy 15 universe at the Square Enix conference. Whether that be more VR or even something ridiculous like Final Fantasy 15 going to Switch, we are going to get something from that franchise. Something that'll probably make me shake my head. But yeah.
If you had the guess specifically.
Oh god, I mean, it's so tough because
they've done a lot already.
Because I mean, we had VR fishing, and then we had a chibi version on mobile. Like those are so far out there.
We've had an RTS thing. We've had the episodes. We've had the there's kind of Game of the Year edition thing.
It's pretty much anything could happen, and that's why I'm keeping it so broad.
We've had a 4-player brawler.
I mean, that's why I'm like, it could go to Switch. We could. I mean,
it'll be the Final Fantasy 15 Battle Royale game.
Oh man, you said it.
100 Noctises.
Oh god.
Drop into insomnia.
Like an Ignis cooking mobile game. I mean, it's all possible.
Cooking Mama crossover.
Yeah, they're just not gonna let it die, and 2018 is no different. So
yeah. Though to be fair, if I worked on something for 10 years, I would milk the crap out of that.
But would you do it in the way that it has been, Marcus?
You got to make all. I mean, 10 years of slaving on something that almost didn't happen. You're like, I'm gonna get my return on this, and then some.
Okay. Well, and I mean, I can get a little bit more specific. I mean, it's likely that we'll see like episode Aranea, and episode. Oh my God, what's his name?
I could go with that. I like her.
Oh my God, the main villain of the game. What is his name?
Oh God, I forgot his name
my
too.
God.
I just had it on my tongue. Guy with the hat.
Guy with the hat. Yeah, we're gonna get a guy with the hat story.
Kind of charming, but a jerk.
Professor Lipton.
Arden.
Kind of, actually.
Yeah.
Wait, do you mean Lupin? Did you call him Lipton, like the tea?
Yeah, Lipton.
At least you owned up
meant
to
Lupin.
it. So yeah, episode Arden, episode Aranea, because we've heard whispers of that before, so it's likely that those will show up. But I mean, last year,
Aranea sounds cool.
Yeah, last year we just had like a 10-minute video that was really bizarre that like recapped what they already did in the Final Fantasy 15 universe, and then a little bit more added on top with the VR fishing and like the expansion where you could drive, or maybe I don't remember if the flying car was before or after that, but stuff like that. Yeah. So I think we're gonna get something similar, with a little just random tidbits thrown in there. So
I hope the car gets its own episode. I want an episode about it.
It might.
Like every time you leave the car to go on foot, like just fills in those gaps. Like what was the car doing all that time?
Just its story before it was driven by the boy band, probably.
Yeah, like what's he think about? Or maybe it's the she. Who knows? What did the car think about the events of 15?
I predict that it'll be like half serious, respectful stuff, and then half nonsense. There.
Okay.
Okay, well, having not played Final Fantasy 15 yet, although it's very high on the queue, now that it's winding down over the course of this year.
Maybe,
nope.
Yeah, because we don't freaking know.
It might be going the complete opposite way.
Could a Final Fantasy 15 spin-off be a prequel with King Regis as the lead?
Yeah, I think anything is possible. I really do.
I was gonna say, like, isn't that basically what the movie was? Unless it goes further back.
I mean, yeah.
Well, there wasn't a lot of like King Regis in action though.
It was more about
because I did see the movie.
And what's her name? Luna Freya, then the king, pretty much. It was just like what happened immediately before. Like, well, actually, it was during the game because it was after Noctis left to go on his little journey, and
yeah, but before the actual game story starts.
Well, kind of during, because yeah, if we want to get technical, but yeah.
I guess sort of. I don't know. Maybe Luna Freya. Maybe 15-2 will star Luna Freya. They'll go the 13-2 route.
She's like barely there. She was in the movie more.
Yeah, just like Sarah in 13. She was barely there, but they gave her own game.
So again, it's totally possible. I mean, really, anything is possible with Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy in general. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down as more Final Fantasy 15 expanded nonsense.
Half nonsense, half semi-serious stuff.
How many teams do they have over there at Square?
Oh, God.
As many as they need for Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I
That's
guess.
true. Square's a pretty big company.
Yeah, what are the World of Final Fantasy people doing? Maybe it's their game.
I think they're sitting in a cobweb covered small office.
I thought people liked World of Final Fantasy. It was cute.
It's okay. I liked how they stacked each other like wee bears.
Yeah. They had good shoulders.
That's not it. Okay. I like how I make a wee bears reference.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that word all day if you really wanted to. Just throw it in there every once in a while. I mean.
Yeah. Sure. All right. Who's next? Jack, you're next. What's your third one?
Okay. So for mine, I'm gonna. This is another really safe one. I'm saving my risky one for the very end. Smash Brothers 5.
Yep.
I think we're gonna see it.
No, they already said we were.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see like the character roster though. Like,
I mean,
they
straight up said it was gonna be playable.
Yeah, I'm not expressing myself well. I think they're gonna show us like the straight up tournament play is not going to have all the characters unlocked, but they're going to tease out some of the more controversial picks for playable characters. Who would be
2 or 3 controversial picks that you can guess?
Because we know for sure Inkling boy and girl, and I guess from the trailer, Link and Mario.
Noctis.
I mean...
They had Cloud.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
They have 2 Clouds, don't they?
I mean,
no, they
had Advent Children Cloud. But,
he's still Cloud.
I mean, it was a palette. It was just a palette swap.
Yeah, okay, I suppose.
They
yeah,
had
that's
that guy
different.
from Xenoblade.
Oh, Shulk, yeah. Though that's not a Square
Zach
game.
In there as a palette swap for Cloud.
I'm trying to think of like the most sellout character they could put in, like
sell out.
Come on,
like
Mark,
sell
you
out
got
in a
this.
bad way or in a good way?
No, they're just like, oh, we'll put in a character if you give us money, like a John Marston,
like Marcus
Oh,
Phoenix.
man.
Yeah, or Marcus Phoenix.
We already had this. Well, if you listen to the last episode about Super Smash Brothers predictions, we talked about Blake Hester specifically pitched Marcus Phoenix, but honestly, that had some weight behind it because like Phil Spencer, when he was straight up campaigning somewhat for Banjo-Kazooie to get in, we were saying like honestly, if Nintendo went to him and said like, hey, we want Marcus Phoenix, he'd probably be like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like I think he'd be totally down for that. So
I mean, it'd just be hilarious to watch him jumping around
after the last
and falling
game
off
with
the map.
Bayonetta and Cloud and yeah, like I mean, we're almost diving back into the last episode, but like after the last game's ridiculous roster, especially the DLC characters, they can kind of go wherever they want now.
They really could.
Yeah, I mean,
So
if you want to know what I mean by my pick, just listen to the last episode.
Bam.
I was gonna say, like, are you using this to bring back Wild Guns?
Yeah, basically.
Clint and Annie get the big E3 stage
I mean,
reveal,
I don't see why not at this point.
Do you think that would go over well with the mainstream
Their level
general?
would be awesome.
I'm not saying it would be bad, but do you think it would... How do you think the reaction would be to that?
I think people
Like,
would
from
be
the general
relatively
public?
indifferent, but I think some people would get excited. I imagine them as being basically ice climbers, but with guns.
Okay.
And
Would that be the only new character they show?
yes, it's going to be the highlight. It's going to be the highlight of the entire presentation. Only wild guns, and they're going to fight like a cybernetic bartender or something. And that's going to be it.
You just see them beating up the Splatoon characters. Like, that's the Splatoon characters' big first showing, is getting beaten up by the Wild Gun characters.
Oh, that would be amazing. Like, the Splatoon characters pull out, like, a little ink cannon. The Wild Gun people just pull out actual guns. Hilarity ensues, because
Okay.
that would...
Half the crowd's like, what is this game?
Parents get upset.
Yeah, I don't know that game.
Wild Gun?
Nope.
It's like a Super Nintendo game. It was kind of like a Virtua Cop type shooter-ish, sort of.
Ooh, I like Virtual Cop.
Like mixed with like I'm tired, so I'm probably mixing up things I shouldn't. But it's mixed with Contra.
It's kind of like almost like but from like the perspective of like a Virtual Cop, like if you're and it's like it kind of blends like Western stuff with cyberpunk.
Well, I'm looking it
not
up,
cyberpunk,
and
but
apparently
not
it's
cyberpunk.
back. They did Wild Guns Reloaded.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
that was the whole
they
premise of my
remastered it.
argument
On
for
PlayStation
Wild Guns.
4
Yep.
yeah, it's
and
on Steam,
Switch.
Yep.
I think we can pretty much take that as confirmation.
So Jack, is that your official prediction? Is like not only is that Smash shows off the new character and the new character is Wild Guns, or that like are you going that specific?
You know what? I'll even say that I think that not only will all of our final picks from last episode be in the E3 presentation of new Super Smash Brothers, but I also think all of my original picks will be in E3 2018 Super Smash Brothers.
Okay. I don't know about that last one, but
it's true.
If that first thing were to come to pass, it'd be fantastic. And if you'd like to know what those 4 picks were,
shameless,
you should listen to the last episode.
Yep.
Is Kratos in Smash at all? Because
no,
that needs to happen so bad.
He was in PlayStation All Stars.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Because I know I've seen that
really
model
wanted
before.
To be Smash.
The camera.
You
just
imagine
pans
Kratos versus Kirby.
That's my prediction. That's my prediction.
Kratos versus Parappa.
But it's the new Kratos, so he's very he's very like his son's with him, and it's very emotional, and he's very
Kirby eats his son, and he's just like
very grumpy.
You will regret that.
Yeah, like every command is boy.
Yeah, it's it's like Pokemon trainer. Kratos is on the outside, and he's like, boy, fighting.
Every time you knock someone off the stage, Atreus asks you how he did, and he's like, you could be better.
Yes.
Good way to... All right. Smash Brothers. I'm trying to figure out how I want to write this. New character reveal. And maybe Wild Guns.
Not let it go.
Okay.
The dream will survive.
If that actually happens, I will crack the hell out. I will eat my hat. I will bring a hat just to eat it.
I will hold you to that. You better eat some hats.
That's happening.
It might have to be a cowboy hat just to fit the occasion.
A bigger hat.
Okay. All right. My third pick is I'm curious to see what you guys think about. This is the one I put the most kind of like, I don't want to say effort, I guess, but research into. So, does anyone remember a game called Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey?
Very vaguely,
yes,
and I'm very shocked to even hear it referenced again.
Was that from the Prince of Persia guy?
Yes, but the Assassin's Creed creator, Patrice Desilets, he formerly of Ubisoft. He helped make the Sands of Time trilogy, and was responsible for creating Assassin's Creed before he left. So at E3 2015, he revealed he left and formed his own studio called Panache Digital Games, and their first project is a game called Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey. And what it is that it's a game about kind of like the origins of humanity, where you and to be fair, gameplay details have been pretty sparse, but the general idea is that you're playing through multiple generations of early humans.
Okay.
So you're playing like as, I don't want to say like cavemen, because that's kind of general, but like, like the Cro-Magnons and Neanderthals or whatever, and like through ape form, and then I guess up to like bipedal humans. So you're in a prehistoric world, and in terms of like what kind of game it is, that's kind of been up in the air. There's been little details about like you're in a big like lush jungle, and like there's maybe some hunting involved. But other than that, it's there isn't much known, because it had a teaser at E3 2015, and it's been very, very quiet since then. It had a pre-alpha video last year, but other than that, like there's been no release window or even platforms of when it's coming, but it's a project that I've been very fascinated with, and I check in on it every few months to see if anything happened that I missed about it, because I think it sounds really cool. So I think that, like, most recently there was a thing on Eurogamer, I think last year, kind of where they were interviewing him, and he spoke about like they finally found a publisher, and they announced the publisher in December, and I think that this E3, this is the year that they bring that game back and give it its kind of like its big coming out party of like, here's exactly what this is. And I think that it's going to be on Microsoft stage.
Okay.
And I think that Microsoft is going to scoop it up as a timed exclusive, a la Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Okay.
And so I think, one, because Microsoft needs something like that desperately at this point, and the project. So for taking something like that with that pedigree and a project that's been so mysterious, to re-debut it on their stage would be huge. And if they do the Tomb Raider thing, that's only good for them, because they should be doing things like that if they can't get it exclusive. And the way I picture it is that we'll get like Patrice on stage he'll give us the full, like gameplay walkthrough, and we'll get a release window finally for when that's happening. But I think it's going to be on, I don't know, I have a gut feeling that it's going to show up at E3 and it's going to be on Microsoft stage.
So it kind of sounds like it would play like Spore almost. How do you think?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Not quite, not like that. Like, I do know there has been enough saying that it's going to be like a third person game.
Okay.
So you're not like making things, like you're controlling early humans, but like you don't control a protagonist. Like, I think the game gradually goes through different generations of humans.
So maybe
I don't
more
know how
survival? Maybe? Survival
what
strategy?
It kind of I think there's some survival elements to it for sure, at least from what, like I said, there's very little like hard information on it, but from what has been spoken, that's kind of what it sounds like they're going for, or at least elements of that.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like a Swords of Ditto or Rogue Legacy thing of like if you die, does it like advance time and you pick up a new generation of person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if it's just something that happens narratively with the story. But yeah, like if you've never seen videos of it, I recommend looking at it. It's a really cool and semi-ambitious sounding thing that they're doing. But yeah, I think this is the year. I think enough time has passed at this point where they can, especially after the most recent trailer they showed last year, I think it seems far enough along where I could see it on a stage now and at least give a demonstration of it.
Okay.
And it'll be the big green stage.
So, that one game that came out recently, where it's like the Prison Break game.
A Way
what
Out.
is it?
A Way Out?
Yeah, was that Microsoft exclusive?
Nope.
No, that's on everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it totally is. Yeah, it's on
Okay.
everything.
I was just wondering because
they
Microsoft
showed it
exclusive.
on their stage last year.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of then.
Or wait, no, it was an EA stage, actually.
It was EA.
Because it was an
Oh,
EA.
yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
that's right, okay.
That's right. It was an EA thing. So they showed it their thing.
Okay. All right. I had a point, but it's gone. Anyway, let's move on.
I dulled your point. Alrighty, final round. Zach, take us home. What you got?
Oh shoot! I'm torn between one that is almost definitely going to be there, and another bad pick. All right, you know what? I'm going to hold on to the bad. No, but the bad pick is so good.
All right, you're making me want to hear the bad pick now.
All right, I'm doing the bad. So I'm confident that someone has the good pick that they've been saving, expecting someone else to say it. So they'll say it.
Mm-hmm.
The bad pick is Urban Chaos Riot Response 2.
You're right.
Okay.
Rocksteady has been working on Batman for, what now, 10 years? When did Arkham Asylum come out? 2009?
Yeah.
So, my original dream was that they would do, post Arkham Knight, that they would wipe the slate clean and do like a spin-off, like a totally, like James Bond from Russia with Love, that they would do something completely different. Like they would do 1960s Batman, starring Adam West, just with the Arkham engine. Like with all of that gameplay, that was my dream. And like every time you hit someone, it says "POW" above their head, and it's just colorful and jolly and sweet and kind-hearted. But it plays exactly like the Batman games that we know and love. But now Adam West is dead, so that's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it'll feel weird because like without Adam West, it's kind of hollow.
Mm-hmm.
So I want them to go back to the game that they made before Arkham, before Batman. Their first game, which is so crazy that they made this one game and then went straight to Batman. Has anyone played Urban Chaos Riot Response?
Nope.
I've seen videos of it. I've never actually
It
played
is really, really good. It is a PS2 and original Xbox first-person shooter that's basically RoboCop the game. like the setting.
Is it even better than RoboCop?
It's so RoboCop, except it's got like enough of its own little thing that it's not a direct ripoff. But it's got these great live action news broadcasts as the cutscenes explaining how the story's progressing, and it's this over the top, really hyper violent. Like, you're shooting people and they're, like, gang members and they're falling into helicopter blades and getting just... It's ridiculous. But, when you play it, there's a lot of Batman in there. Like, you can see weird things like how in Batman, if you press certain buttons when you're using gadgets, that makes it like a cinematic slow motion thing when you throw a Batarang. Which is never said in the game. It's just, if you know how to do it, you can do it. The game never tells you to do it. It's the same thing here. If you like spin the right analog stick before you score a headshot, you get like a slow motion kill cam. And it is an over the top, just really, really awesome shooter with like an arcade style replayability and upgrade system. And it would be great to see that as a PS2 on PS4 upgrade and a sequel. That's my pick.
Okay.
Urban Chaos 2.
Urban Chaos 2. You know, since you brought out Rocksteady, I'm just going to say my last pick now because it is related to Rocksteady.
But Marcus, it is my turn.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
I'm kidding. Oh my god. I didn't expect that much a pause. Jeez.
It's like, well, now I don't want to anymore.
I'm sorry.
If you're going to be all indignant about it.
He thinks it's because he makes the rules that he can break them. It's fine.
Okay. But no, yeah, I'll get mine out of the way. I, on the same boat, like, I think Rocksteady will unveil their next project. I don't think it's going to be Urban Chaos 2.
It's so going to be Urban Chaos 2.
I honestly, I don't know what it's going to be, but if I had to guess, I think it will either be Superman. I think Superman's my strongest one. If it's not Superman, my wild pick is TMNT. Teenage Mutant Ninja. I think, I don't know, like, I don't know why TMNT exactly, but that's just like a pure gut of like, if it's not Superman and it's not a new IP, for some, I maybe it's something to do with the Ninja Turtles inclusion in Injustice recently, like maybe Warner Brothers, because they're under Warner Brothers. Maybe that's, I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but if that's teasing that like a new TMNT game is on the way, because it's such a random inclusion.
No, Ninja Turtles is basically like a PG version of Urban Chaos Riot Response.
I've always said that.
Well, I mean, it is. Like, in the movie, the Foot Clan is mostly, it's kids, right? Like, it's teenagers? Like, they're trying to get the teenagers to join the Foot Clan?
I mean, it's kind of weird to think that, just because the movies came out so long before the game existed. So, like, I don't know. Maybe, like a weird kind of, like, retrospective comparison, but... Yeah, sure.
Well, and the plot in Urban Chaos is, like, the twist is that the gang members are all members of the evil mega corporation who's been, like, poisoning their employees, and they've gone crazy.
Sure. That's also, like, the twist to, like, Streets of Rage, but...
Crossover, man.
I don't know. but yeah, that was pretty much it. That's not happening. I don't know if I want it. I don't know if I trust it to happen. But Streets of Rage 3 is not a great game. But
it's got a kangaroo with boxing gloves.
Yeah, Streets of Rage 2 was the peak of that series. Come on, man. 2 is a classic.
They're all great. On the roller skates.
But yeah,
roller skate gameplay in an open world Streets of Rage like Yakuza, but you fight everybody. There's no side quests about being friendly. Side quests about punching people.
I mean, if Rocksteady wants to make that game, then go for it. That'd be a weird thing, but especially with Sega involved. But they want to do that. But I think we finally find out what the hell they've been doing since Arkham Knight. I mean, obviously they did the VR game, but other than that, so yeah, Superman or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those are my two guesses. But regardless, they will show something
sooner or later. Absolutely.
No, it'll be E3.
Okay.
That'll be it. Okay, Naomi, you're allowed to go now.
Oh, can I? Can I go now? Okay. Is that okay?
I know you've just been, fidgeting in your seat, just antsy, just biting your lip, just like, oh, hurry up.
God.
So, here you go. You have the floor.
All right. Final pick. Cyberpunk 2077.
That was the easy one. Yep.
It's going to be gameplay trailer, and it's going to be either on PlayStation or Xbox stage. But we're not going to get a release date, or it's going to be somewhere in the far, far future, much like the setting of the game. Oh. So, there is my prediction.
All right. So, Cyberpunk, full showing, but no release date.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the twist. The release date is in the title.
Oh, God.
The twist is that the game is actually hidden inside of Gwent, the Witcher card.
I mean, they've been working on the game for an obscene amount of time, so...
You have to win X number of card games to unlock Cyberpunk.
I played 75 hours of The Witcher 3, and I did not play Gwent at all.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't play any Gwent.
I played it like 3 times, and I was terrible at it. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It was just awful.
I have no patience, so I didn't want to learn it, and yeah.
Yep. So, all right, Jack. You're the last one. What you got?
All right.
Make it good.
I think we're going to see a new Xbox this year.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Really?
Yeah,
That's pretty...
What's its name?
That's pretty bold.
It might just be Xbox.
Xbox One, Xbox
when you
One,
So when you say
One.
new Xbox, do you mean like another kind of half step or like a full-on, like...
I think we're going to see a full-on new console because... So, the Xbox One released in 2013... in the United States.
Yep.
It's been 5 years, and I mean, we're getting towards the end of what would have typically been like a console life cycle-ish. Mm-hmm. And I think that the PlayStation 4 at this point just has so much market share that
to say the least.
That I was reading an article, it was like something like 71% of the home console market between the two.
I think we might have read the same articles. I think I read that recently too.
But so I'm thinking that Microsoft is probably looking at a way to get a head step on the next cycle. And I can see them trying to pull an Xbox 360 and getting a head start on the competition. And I also think maybe that's why we haven't been seeing a whole ton of exclusives from them lately. They might be saving them up for a new console launch. And so I'm thinking that maybe we don't get a release date, but I think that they might tease their next console.
That'd be...
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's likely, but it's annoying.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll pick it apart in the next segment, but...
There's going to be a lot of angry Xbox One X owners.
Oh my God! Right?
that's one reason. But
I mean, I to clarify, I think it's realistically like 2 years out from actually being released, but I think we'll see it.
Like they'll drop hints or something.
Yeah, or maybe even bring it out and like say we're gonna release Halo. Do people even care about Halo anymore?
No.
We're gonna
I don't think to the degree that it used.
We're gonna release this big thing that we've been working on in secret for a while, and it's gonna be on Xbox Next
handheld
or whatever.
Yeah. Phil Spencer pulls off his T-shirt to reveal a new T-shirt underneath that teases the next Xbox.
Oh man.
The T-shirt is the Xbox.
He's like, you're probably wondering where the new console is. Well, what if I told you I was wearing it?
There are little fans all over the shirt.
And they show a demo, and they show a demo of Gears of War 5, and like he's just moving JD Phoenix with his body.
How amazing!
It's the Connect 3 basically.
I just had the mental image, like it's prototype technology. They're taking a big gamble. It's their shirt console. They're not sure if it's going to work. It just catches on fire on the stage as they're trying to demonstrate it. And it turns into a horror story.
Isn't that what happened at like the Devolver conference? Like
Devolver was amazing.
I mean,
like
it
was like a virtual
fire,
console
but in a different
where
way.
they like inserted an intern's arm and it just like ate their arm or something.
I mean,
I will be.
Yeah, I want to host that again this year.
I mean, I'll be attending Microsoft's conference, so if I have to watch like Phil Spencer burn to death on stage,
oh gosh,
I don't know if I want to see that. Like as people desperately run out with fire extinguishers trying to put them out.
Oh man,
this got real dark.
Just sitting there.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Just sitting there like
that turned quick.
Just sitting there like, was that supposed to happen, or what's going on? Is this part of the show, or he has to give us the thumbs up that says he's okay as he's being carted out. Okay.
And Miyamoto's there, and he's like,
thoughts.
"Oh, the whole Skyward Sword thing doesn't seem so bad anymore."
He's like, finally. That's not how he sounds.
Finally.
Alrighty. So there we go. We've got our E3 predictions. I'm gonna go down the list. We got Mega Man Legends 3 Comeback.
Oh yeah.
We got the full reveal of the Pokemon RPG for Switch, including a release date. We've got a Death Stranding release date, and I guess a gameplay demo too. We've got Sony announcing PSN name changing, new Call of Juarez title, a Kingdom Hearts 3 fall release date, along with a Star Wars and/or Marvel World. The Avengers game getting its full reveal. The Resident Evil 2 remake getting its full reveal. Some more Final Fantasy 15 stuff. The Super Smash Brothers, I still don't even know what to call it. Super Smash Brothers new character that may or may not be Wild Guns related. Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey, getting a full showing on Microsoft stage as a timed exclusive. Rocksteady announcing Urban Chaos 2, or Rocksteady in general showing up probably with either Superman or a TMNT game. Cyberpunk 2077 getting its full reveal, and a new Xbox for reals this time.
Okay.
And that's it. So, stay tuned, because next we are going to pick apart all of these predictions to determine the 4 that we feel are the most likely to go down during that magical week of June 12th. So, we'll be right back.
I say it's time we focus on what really matters. The games. Who's with me? See, I love gaming, okay? I love you too. I love walk-off homers and headshots. I love drifting a turn at 100 miles an hour in boss battles with a 600-foot-tall Greek god who may or may not be your father. Gaming is having a ridiculously huge TV in a tiny one-room apartment. Staying up till 3 a.m. to earn a trophy that isn't real. But is. And it's girls who know that the way to a man's heart is through a melee attack. I love gaming. And I know you love it too. That's why you're here. And why millions of people are pretending to work while they watch this at their desk.
Welcome back, all. We've got our E3 predictions here, and we are going to narrow down these 15 picks down to the Elite Four. And we're not talking about Pokemon, or at least not in this immediate juncture, unless somebody does want to start talking about Pokemon.
Yes.
I think Naomi wants to talk about Pokemon.
Always.
Honestly, I mean,
is there a way we cannot include it? I mean, it has to happen. They have to say something about Pokemon this year.
I feel like Pokemon's a 50-50. I could see it going either way. They could either do Well, actually, 50-50 is being generous. Now that I think about it, I think I'm going to say 30-70. And the reason I say that is because Nintendo has already said that this E3, they are going all in on Smash Brothers, kind of like what they've done the last 2 years of focusing just on like Mario and then Zelda the year before. And those last 2 years, they delivered on that of like, here's all of this game, and then maybe a few other announcements here and there. And for something like the Pokemon RPG, that seems too big to just be another thing that they just show. You know what I mean?
I can see your points there. But Pokemon fans are rabid, and if they don't say something significant, there's going to be a lot of backlash, and I feel like they know that, so they're going to have to say something.
I think the compromise with that is that I think it'll appear, but I don't think it'll be like the full kind of like coming out party. I think it'll be like almost like a Nintendo Direct style update of like, yeah, this is still happening, but not like, here's the info dump of everything you wanted to know. I think that game will get its own Direct where they do like pull the curtain back on that, but it won't be at E3.
Okay.
To me. If anyone else wants to...
I would love for it to be there, but I think that it's too far out. I think that if it is there, I would be more worried than if it's not there. Because they announced that they were doing it at E3 last year. Basically, they said, we don't have anything, but the next Pokemon is going to be on Switch. And if it is at this E3, it will be like the old Pokemon. If it's at this E3, it will not be the ambitious, new, game-changing title that... It will, if it's at this E3, it won't be the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon.
Yeah. I think it'll... Like I said, I think it'll be like maybe one or two little details about it that we didn't know before, but other than that, we still won't know when it's going to come out or what it looks like exactly, and it'll just be like, yeah, we're going to have every Pokemon ever in it or something like that. And we're just like, oh, okay. And then that's about
I think the best we can hope for... I mean, we can hope for the world, but the best I think that we can reasonably expect is for them to have a pre-rendered trailer that does not show anything but a title, and coming soon.
Yeah. The title is honestly the most I'll go. Like, the title and then, like, the classic theme song with it.
The only reason I doubt that it might be at E3 is that it's Nintendo. Yeah.
See, because I don't think it'll be there, like, playable, but are you saying it won't even get a mention whatsoever?
I also don't think there's going to be a mention of Metroid Prime that they announced last year.
Yeah, too early.
I would actually put, if I was comparing it to, I would expect Prime more than Pokemon. To me. I mean, they're kind of in a similar camp in terms of like, I mean, obviously we don't know how far along either of those really are, but they were announced the same year. And if I had to take one or the other, I would expect Metroid.
I would also, but at the same time, I don't know how adjacent those teams are, because the Pokemon Company is like a whole other entity. But I think that those two games are a case where if they were across the street from each other, they would pull people from Metroid to make Pokemon happen sooner. I think that they, because Metroid is great and universally adored by those who adore it. Pokemon is universally adored by everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon's the bigger name. Like, if I was Nintendo and wanted to pick which one to show, I would go Pokemon. But I don't know, something makes me think that the scope of the project is so big that Metroid will be further along, unless you're doing something crazy with Metroid. But if it's anything like the other Prime games, I feel like that would be closer to being in a showable state, I guess. Again, this is knowing nothing about the development of those two games in terms of their progress, so I could be completely wrong. But I don't know, Naomi, do you have any counterpoints or arguments you want to make for Pokemon?
I mean,
getting its big showing.
I mean, my prediction was just that we'd see a little bit more of it. Like, I didn't think that we'd...
Okay.
Well, I mean, and I suppose I did say release date by the end of the year.
Yeah. You did say full reveal as well.
But all those points are fair, so I'm willing to table it at least for now.
Okay. I think... if I'm just going to straight up say that Mega Man Legends 3 is not happening.
No.
Same.
At all. Or at least if it does ever happen, it's not going to be here. I don't see it. I would love it, but I don't see it.
I think that it will happen. I don't know that it will happen this year. I think that before it happens, we will get a Mega Man Legends Legacy Collection. I could see, but I could also see that happening at E3, then being like, oh, we're doing a Mega Man Legends Legacy Collection, and then at the end, also, PS4, Mega Man Legends 3.
Actually...
you know, that it's trending in that direction, but it's a thing that we just can't accept or believe until we see it.
I even doubt a Legacy Collection, mainly because it's, to me, it seems harder to repackage a bunch of old PS1 games than it is to do NES and Super Nintendo, mainly because graphically they age just way better than PS1 games do. So, like, I mean, I don't know what they could do, but like those collections, they're able to go back and add like modern stuff like Rewind and whatever. I don't know if you can do that with an old PS1 game. Maybe you can, but no one done it, and those seem harder to polish up and put in and there's only 3 of them, and 2 of them are actually Legends games, I guess, like traditional ones. So
Misadventures of Tron 1 it's nuts. That's a nuts game. I loved it. It's a nutty game.
I don't know.
It's so good.
I just feel like that's a huge shot in the dark, especially for, of all the things Capcom could show, and also would that steal some of Mega Man 11's thunder, and that has a
I could definitely see them waiting until after that. And I could see Mega Man 11 being a solid hit, and them going, okay, now it's Mega Man Volnut's turn.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to cross Legends off the list. It can go back to...
I believe in it, though.
Not existing. Never... Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Okay. Anyone have anything that they want to champion? I'm trying to think of,
well, while we're crushing my dreams, Urban Chaos 2. Okay. And I'm going to pit that directly against the other Rocksteady pick.
So before we even do this, Naomi and Jack, do you think Rocksteady at all will be there?
No. Without any solid reasoning, just no.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, mine is more or less a gut. Like, out of my picks, it's my most, like, gut feeling. So, because they've been very quiet. I've been Googling them, and they've shown really nothing indicating what they're doing or if they're going to show up. So, what about you, Jack?
Who is rumored to be behind the Superman game that's coming out?
Them.
I think they're going to be there with that Superman game.
Okay. So you're in my camp, then.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a weird, like, 4. So I have Jack on my side. Naomi's against all of us, basically.
Yep.
And you are in your Urban Chaos camp.
Because I don't have a gut feeling that Urban Chaos is going to be there. I don't have, like, this wishy-washy, maybe it'll be Superman, maybe it'll be Batman, maybe it'll be this,
Urban Chaos is
maybe it'll be that.
I mean, I know for sure it won't be... I mean, I know it won't be...
I've got the vision. Like I can't see, like, a chiseled half Superman, half Batman, half, I don't know, gut feeling chiseled on Mount Rushmore, carved into the side of a mountain.
Right. You're right. This entire pick should just be scrapped.
You know? I see a man with a riot helmet and a shield. I can see carved into the side of a mountain. And he's probably Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay, so this is a semi-weak defense, but it's a defense. There's been more... more evidence, and I'm using that term somewhat loosely, that they are working on a Superman game than they are on Urban Chaos. Now, granted, this evidence is... So it came from 4chan, so already take that.
And for that reason, I'm out.
But an anonymous source on 4chan, and then it got picked up by other outlets.
Was it a green frog?
I don't know, like literally the post was just anonymous, and they dropped several key points saying like, hey, like I've gotten from a source that they are working on Superman, and put a bullet point list of like what it's in it. And one of them was like, it does take place in the Arkham verse. And that, I'm trying to remember all the other ones, but it was like a, kind of like a, maybe 5 or 6 kind of key point list of what it entails. That was the one that stood out to me, was that it takes place in the Arkham verse. So like obviously again, take it with like a heaping grain of salt, but it's something, like you never know. It could be that. And even before that leak, that was always kind of like the kind of the pervading rumor / wishful thought was Superman.
Yeah.
And I see them doing that, especially being under Warner Brothers umbrella. I don't even know if Warner Brothers would let them work on Urban Chaos when they're like, hey, you guys killed it with Superman. Let's give you another iconic hero to make us more money with, and the only other one is you guys killed it with Batman, so here's Superman, make us a ton of money with that.
Please, we need it.
Yes, we need it. Also, Superman's not even like one of my favorite heroes, but I would love and have been wanting to see someone make a genuinely great Superman game. I want to know what that game is. Oh, also I just remember one of the other key points was apparently that Brainiac will be the main villain.
Okay.
So, and that it's an open world, of course, because you kind of have to with Superman. And
will he fly through rings?
Oh, and that I'm slowly remembering everything as it's talking. Like, apparently the world is supposed to be 2 to 3 times bigger than Arkham Knight's Gotham. So, again, this could all be BS because of where it's coming from. But I'm just saying, if even just for what I said with like the publisher relationship, if Rocksteady's like, we want to make Urban Chaos 2, and they're like, hell no, we're not giving you money. We're not giving you money for that. You got all these other DC heroes you could be doing.
Oh, so what was the team that made Arkham Origins? Who are the same team who did some of the DLC, right?
Warner Brothers, Montreal.
And what are they working on?
We don't know. They've been quiet for a while.
I can see them being put in charge. I can see Rocksteady being like, we don't want to do Batman anymore. These studios who are stuck on not stuck. It's probably great that they get to work on something that's so beloved, but they want to do other stuff. Naughty Dog.
They're doing Superman.
Yeah.
Totally different character, totally different skill set. Unless they're just sick of superheroes in general. But
yeah. I could,
That's a very different character to tackle than Batman.
And if they wanted to tackle Superman, I think that they would need a palate cleanser in the middle. Something that they make for them, the way Rockstar made Red Dead Redemption. They expected that to not make money. They were like, we're doing this for us.
So Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen gets his own game then.
Jimmy Olsen is a character in Urban Chaos 2.
Yes. It's the big reveal at the end. He takes his right helmet off and it's Jimmy Olsen, and it turns out he was on just a really dangerous photography assignment, and then it segues into Superman. But honestly, Montreal, the assumption was that they were working on a Suicide Squad game because of the way that Arkham Origins ends. I don't know if that's still happening in the wake of the movie not being great, but yeah, they've been quiet since then. But I don't know. I don't know what else more to say about like Superman or in general versus Urban Chaos. That's kind of my argument.
I think
I'm gonna
say
Superman over Urban Chaos, but I think they both should be tabled because compared to the other Titans we have on this list, they kind of rank low.
I agree with Naomi.
Yeah, it's the most. It's definitely on the more like shot in the dark kind of picks. It could very easily not.
It's something that, as much as I would love to see urban chaos guy. I don't even think he has a name in the game. Carved in the side of a mountain. I would hate to see Superman carved. I would love to see Superman carved into the side of a mountain. I would hate to see him carved into the side of a mountain based on 4chan.
Okay, that's a weird distinction, but alright. Okay, so I'll cross out both of our Rocksteady picks. Let's talk about that new Xbox.
Yeah.
Too soon.
I would be shocked if they even tease the new X. That to me would take a lot of balls to do.
But I mean,
less than a year after the X comes out.
But I mean, I feel like they might be getting desperate and just want that super ballsy move. I don't know if it's an E3 move though.
I mean,
they don't really have any other time of year to announce it. 'Cause they don't do other shows like Sony does.
And I think it might be like kind of the antidote to that moment when the Xbox and the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 were kind of competing, and Sony just kind of completely swept in. It was like, our thing can play used games, and like just showed like a quick thing of that happening.
They really never recovered.
It's also $100 cheaper.
Yeah. And so I think that ever since then they've been looking for kind of a moment like that, and this could be a moment where catch people by surprise with this early announcement.
Do you think they do it like the way they revealed the Scorpio of like, because remember they announced the S and the Scorpio at the same show, where like the S got the like full on like, here's what this is, here's the box, and then they showed the like teaser video for like, oh, but next year.
Yeah, that was so lame.
And then it showed, yeah, and just like, oh, so why should I buy this new one that you just showed me?
They're like, oh, PS4 Pro, well, we're gonna have something too, and it's gonna be like way better. It's gonna have liquid cooling, okay, guys?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Pro and also PlayStation 5, where it hooks into your mind. But I mean, I don't know. I don't see it. Less than a year after the X, I get what you're saying about them, because they did it with the 360, where the, I think people forget how kind of abruptly the original Xbox kind of ended, and then they just jumped right to the 360 and were first of that generation, so they have a precedent of doing that, and I guess maybe even... I don't know about even more. So I mean, the original Xbox didn't do like super duper gangbusters either, but it was pretty much like we're having a similar situation now, where like the PlayStation system completely destroyed them just for completely different reasons. So yeah, I get what you're saying about them like just hitting the hard reset button of like screw it, we're just gonna
that's also
abandon ship.
That's also based a little bit on a false narrative that the Xbox is failing, because it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
No, it's not failing. It's just not doing as well as its competition.
It's not doing as well as its competition, which is doing so much better than anyone could have predicted.
Right.
It is. I mean, from a pure sales standpoint, if you look at the Xbox One in a vacuum, it's doing fine. It is failing in other areas, such as like just games, really, like first-party games. It's completely failing on that part.
But is it still? I mean, I don't remember the last time I saw this reported, but is it still outselling the Xbox 360 through this point in its life cycle?
We don't know, because they stopped sharing game data or like sales data a long time ago, because they moved on to engagement data. Because that's more important. It's like, hey, we judge by activity on Xbox Live. Like, hey, look, 50 million players were logged in Xbox Live this month. Because, I mean, when you're distant second, you don't really want to share stuff. I mean, I think the most recent, like, kind of thing that I've heard was that they outsold the PS4 in December. But again, without exact sales data, you don't know for sure. But that's the last kind of like the closest thing I've heard to like any sort of data for that. I have no idea how. I know the X, when that launched, it was said to be performing better than expected. I don't know if it's still been consistent with that since then. If they were to announce a new Xbox for reals, what that would do to the X, especially with the X being as expensive as it is.
If the X is performing better than expected, it would really be a problem if they announced an Xbox 720.
Because think about it. If they announced
their expectation took into account, like, you know, their expectations for a half step up platform might have been smaller, significantly smaller. And so it kind of like a PlayStation 2 Slim situation.
Well, except that this is like the most powerful
the
console
PS2
ever.
Slim wasn't marketed.
Wasn't
marketed the same.
They put
way.
a lot of work in. It seems like they put a lot of work into the X to almost immediately undercut it by announcing a new console.
Yeah, I don't have as much faith in these companies. I think they're going to be looking to take a roll of the dice on something even newer, and to me, it's like the Xbox One X was always billed as kind of the luxury option. It wasn't a necessary option because your Xbox One can still play all the games that Xbox One X can play. I'm thinking like their next console will actually be another console, not just like a half step up.
Like the true successor.
Yeah, like new. No
Xbox 2.
No backwards compatibility this time either. We just couldn't do it. I don't know why.
I feel like, I mean, if they do announce a new console, I feel like that would be foolish for them not to do backwards compatibility.
It's always foolish for them not to do backwards compatibility. They just don't do it.
In Xbox's case, though, that's one of the few things that they have over Sony, because that is a genuinely awesome feature for the Xbox. So for them to kind of build up that goodwill and then immediately take it away.
Yeah, I didn't say they were smart.
And this is after pissing off half the people by announcing a new console to begin with, then to be like, oh yeah, you can't play your old games. Like, oh, what?
Well, see, that's
like...
why I don't think it's going to be like, they're not going to lay it all out on the table. If they do it, it will be like an epic teaser moment where they're going to highlight whatever this thing does that is so revolutionary over the Xbox One X.
Yeah,
and
10 teraflops.
Yeah, and or whatever. It's gonna be VR
8K.
ready right out of the box, or some
Connect 3 as a VR headset.
Yeah, basically. Or like a HoloLens in every box, something like that.
Oh man, HoloLens! Remember that?
Holo what?
Yeah.
What if the new Xbox was just HoloLens?
Yeah, I mean, like an updated HoloLens. Or all the used ones. Just put them in there.
He's just wearing it on his face. He's like, here it is. This is the new Xbox. Congrats.
Well, I know some people are expecting the next gen consoles in as early as 2019, and there's a lot of 2020.
2020 is what I'm seeing more likely.
I'm leaning towards 2021 at the earliest.
Oh, I see.
I don't think it's that late. Yeah, I think 2019 at the earliest, but 2020 seems like a comfortable.
Well,
date.
and that's why I'm saying 2019. I think Microsoft's Xbox division is gonna want a jump start on everyone else, and they're gonna try and do that with an announcement this year, but then a full reveal next year.
Would it beg the question though of like, if you were gonna do this as soon, why not make the X the new Xbox?
Well, I mean that was always kind of the question, right?
Like, why not just work on it more and make it like even more power? Like, if you already working on it anyway, and you're just gonna announce a new thing months later, this may as well have just been Xbox 2 or whatever the hell they're gonna call it, Xbox Super Duper Z,
the Xbox Pro.
No, so I you know what? I'm coming around to this, and I'm coming around to this in a pessimistic way, like a nihilistic kind of. I can see this happening. Absolutely, I can see them saying, "By the way, we're working on the next Xbox," and maybe not even showing anything, or just having like a little CGI nothing, like when they first announced.
It's like Phil Spencer winks at the camera like
like
a car salesman.
People get up and like there's like a big green background, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's happening," and like he puts his arms up and he's like, "Give it up, everybody." we're coming out early, just like with the 360. It's gonna be great, and I think that it would be important to have carved in stone the idea of the next Xbox as a monument to Microsoft's video game self-destruction.
So that's kind of what I was gonna, at least what I was about to ask you, Jack. Where like, you're not even, is this so much that you think this is going to happen, or like, you think this is actually a good idea, or like, you think this is a terrible idea, but they're stupid enough to do it?
I don't know that it's gonna be a great idea. I just can see them trying it and see it.
Yeah, like you would prefer them not doing it, but you think that
it could be their Wii
they
U.
would do it.
You know.
I don't think anyone wants to be the Wii U.
I'm just saying they'd survive.
That's not what they're aiming for. We have a tablet.
They'd survive.
It's called Microsoft Surface. That's how you control the next Xbox.
I mean, that's basically how they were trying to spin it when the Xbox One launched.
That is true. Oh, God, that feels like a lifetime ago. Man, this is Naomi. You've been quiet. What are your thoughts on all this?
I'm just trying to digest it because, I mean, on one hand, yes, I do have the pessimistic viewpoint where it totally could happen that way.
Like they're dumb enough to do it.
Yeah, so that's part of me leaning towards yes on that. But again, then there's all the logic on the other side. Like, why would they undermine their own console, the Xbox One X? So I'm torn.
Because they're dumb.
I like to think that this regime, this Phil Spencer era that we live in, has learned its lesson to the point where I would be shocked if they made a mistake of that magnitude.
Wait, does Phil Spencer still have his Terminator 2 Edward Furlong side bangs? Okay, then he hasn't learned his lesson.
I mean, but I would be genuinely shocked of like, one, because it's dumb, and also it would be the most like, it would symbolically be them waving the white flag on this generation. I'm like, yeah, we lost. We know. So we have to like, you know what I mean? Like, they seem to have been avoiding that with the whole like, we don't announce sales data anymore. We just care about all the people playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And doing,
like, it's not enough for them to just be successful. It's not to go into like a big capitalist thing, but you know, if they're not blowing it out of the water every year, then they're failing.
I mean, they haven't been blowing out of the water.
But they've been outselling the 360. Or at least they were for a while.
That's not really impressive. Well, for one, I don't know if that's something you want to shoot for. Like, we're selling our old console. It's like, great.
That is great.
What about the...
Everybody is successful. Just because they're not number one doesn't mean they're not doing very well.
I mean, I think it's more the fact that they were basically number one last gen and then completely just blew it this generation. So for them to potentially blow it again by doing this, and again, it depends on what they announce. I mean, if they were to do this, like Jack said, it would be little more than, hey, we're doing it, and then maybe like an up close shot of a teraflop.
And that's exactly what I think will happen, and I think there will be significant backlash, but I think it will be historic. It will be an historic event. And so I think it should be on... It should be... You know, everything will be chiseled on the mountain. And that will be chiseled on the mountain, a big X. But it'll be like... It'll have blood red paint spilling down from it.
You know what else? I mean, imagine that. But also, they somehow managed to get, like, Cyberpunk 2077 as an exclusive for that console.
Whoa. Whoa! That's a whole other...
I don't see...
I'm not saying that it would be that. I'm just saying, like, they would probably tease it with something like that. Like, this game isn't coming out this year, but it's going to be launching next year with this. And then they'd have, like, a really flashy trailer of some kind.
Okay.
For an exclusive.
I don't know about Cyberpunk, but it'll probably be Halo 6 of like, here's Master Chief in the desert with a cloak, and it's an 8K.
Oh God.
I mean, that is the worst version. That is the worst version of my scenario. But yeah, that's possible.
It's the more likely one.
So I'm gonna go with a solid no, just because I'm gonna be an optimist, and because we've heard from Microsoft before that the Xbox One is potentially the last console generation. That was the buzz around 2016. And I think that they are leaning, or at least they're seeing a market more in VR and AR, and that they're going to project into that market instead of a new console, at least at this point. So that's my official no.
That's funny. Your no pushes me more towards a yes.
I mean, and that's fine. As long as we make a decision.
I'm a no. I'm also a no. So we're kind of tied right now.
It pushes me. It pushes me towards yes because I can absolutely see that was Microsoft's point of view in 2016, and then the Switch came out, and the Switch sold gangbusters and is continuing to sell very well.
I mean, imagine a console that was designed specifically to facilitate VR. I can see that happening. I can see them going hard into VR.
I think that would be a mistake.
I mean, it would,
VR
but
hasn't
again,
even taken off the way that it has. So for them to put all their eggs in that basket,
we haven't seen the best decision making. You've even been assuming like the
that's
worst
what I'm saying.
case
I feel
scenario for this. Maybe launch.
I'm complimenting the current regime because they've made. I mean, they're still there's areas they definitely could improve in, but they've made a lot of strides in other areas. In terms of like they've been good at kind of delivering on the few things that Sony isn't doing, like the backwards compatibility. I think Game Pass is an awesome service. So they're good at kind of like picking their spots and going all in on it. This seems like something I would expect the original Xbox regime to do. To me. Like if Don Matrix suddenly was quietly rehired and was like, "Hey, I'm back. I got a new Xbox for you. You can't play it on your submarine. No, we got a console for that. It's called the Xbox. Just the original Xbox. We make those, don't we? Still,
Xbox Mini.
How about? You know what? I'm gonna like shelve that for now because that seems to be a hot one. It is
a hot one. That's its own podcast.
I'm gonna change gears. What's the most likely thing that's gonna happen here? I think that the Avengers thing is gonna happen.
Too soon. Not until after Spider-Man.
I know it's my pick.
I'm gonna.
But Square announcing a thing feels like that would be the venue to show it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I think the Kingdom Hearts thing is definitely the most likely.
I believe that Kingdom Hearts is the most likely as well.
I believe half of it. I believe the fall date, Star Wars and Marvel. I'm on the.
That's why I believe Star Wars and Marvel. I think that the date's going to be announced as 2019.
Yeah, see, I'm more about the Star Wars and Marvel than the release date.
Yeah.
I don't know. They seem so like. At least recently, they've been showing that game more and more. That makes me think that not that they're going to stick with it.
But they've been saving it up for a reveal, Marcus.
I think they're going to like the same thing with Final Fantasy 15, where they had a whole literal like pomp and circumstance thing for like revealing that date before it got pushed back. But you know, talking about when the big convention thing that they did. So I think they're going to commit to like it's coming this year. Now, whether or not it actually sticks to that has no bearing in this discussion, but I think they're still going to, like, double down and say, like, no, 2015 for reals. We're not playing around
We made
here.
a time machine so we could go release it in 2015.
Did you not see the Monsters, Inc. thing that we showed? How could you not think we were going to miss this year? And then they do. But at E3, they will stick to 2018. Star Wars and Marvel, I would love that. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, you...
Oh, man, Marcus, it is like a helps. Sure thing.
The only reason I would say is because, like, there's multiple Marvel movies and a new Star Wars movie this year.
That's every year.
That's exactly what I mean.
That's been every,
I guess
that's been every year for the
Marvel,
last 4 years.
Oh, I guess that's true, yeah.
Well,
I was like, Marvel, yes, and then I kind of thought Star Wars, yeah, we haven't been getting Star Wars.
There's going to be something Kingdom Hearts. If it says 2018, that means 2019.
Oh, no, Kingdom Hearts. No, Kingdom Hearts will
and there'll be a trailer,
there,
and if at the end of that trailer it says 2018, that means it's not coming out in 2018. If it says December 2018, then I'm more inclined to believe it, but I'm still... May 2019. That's when it's happening.
Heck, I'll even get more specific. Sora is going to have a lightsaber in the trailer.
Lightsaber Keyblade!
And he's going to be back-to-back with Iron Man. Something like that.
Is the lightsaber...
Oh, God.
Wow. That's quiet. Is the lightsaber Keyblade a straight-up lightsaber, or is the beam somehow shaped like a key.
It's gonna be shaped like a key.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards that. 100%.
Like it makes
and
no sense from like a technological standpoint.
But neither does Kingdom Hearts. So
like it looks like it's just a straight up laser key.
Well, anyway, 3 against 1, Marcus.
Boom.
Alrighty, I'll sort of kind of.
What are you gonna half-write it?
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, well, this is what's happening. Resident Evil 2.
I think there's other stronger things on the list.
Oh yeah.
Of all the things that I think it's possible, I'm thinking about what Capcom could show. Because Capcom art always has a pretty decent showing at E3. I'm trying to think. Like, I think we'll see more Monster Hunter stuff. There'll probably be some Street Fighter stuff. Mega Man 11 will definitely get a thing. I'm always surprised that thing has skipped so many E3s. Like I expect to see it every year, and every year they disappoint me. 7 being out at this point helps.
Not just being out, but being done.
Yeah, like being out and done, and not having any Resident Evil on the horizon that we know of, other than this.
Capcom's got the momentum, and they want to build on it. Like, as much as Mega Man 11 is an important game for many people, it's not the kind of game that's going to sell 5 million copies. It's like, if it sells 2 million, they'll be like, wow, we're really proud of that game's performance.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 Remake,
so
that's a 10 million seller.
So that game's on the same level of, like, could be, maybe, as some other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and pick one that I think is a for sure, and that's Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Because I think there's been enough noise behind that, even from CD Projekt Red themselves.
Yeah, they
kind of, like,
tweeted. Well, I can't remember.
It was a few months ago now, but yeah, they were like beep.
I mean, that means something.
Yeah, like even after that, I feel like I've read stuff where they were straight up kind of like sort of teasing, like, yeah, we're gonna do a thing at E3 or something, like something that was like, you may as well just straight up say Cyberpunk's coming. That's basically what you just said.
There were some leaks. They weren't official, but
also their Twitter account reactivated for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, like, and Witcher's done. I mean, I know Gwent is still the thing they're working on, but like, I feel I would be shocked if it wasn't there. Let's just say that. So I think, are we all in agreement that Cyberpunk is pretty much a guarantee?
Yeah.
Okay. So there we go.
Progress.
Alrighty. Death Stranding. I think this is a tricky one because Sony is always hard to predict because they have so many shows now a year where, like, it could happen. I don't know if they'll do it at E3 though. It could easily be at PSX.
That's true.
I can't believe no one said Devil May Cry 5.
Meh.
I could take. I mean, I want it, but it's not something that has enough fire behind to make me think it could happen.
Wasn't it like rumored that it was going to be at PSX, but they're like, no, we were going to save it for E3 so that we have more stuff to show at E3?
I mean, the most I've read about was like Ninja Theory talking about it briefly, like if it could happen. But like, I mean, if they were to get it back.
Okay, yeah, good.
Yeah, like it was like
got it back, I don't want it.
Asked, but like, hey, are you guys doing another one?
Which is really funny because that's the only one I played.
I don't want that. I have no point of comparison, but I don't want it.
See, everything's a meme now.
But Death Stranding, that's
and what's the specific that it'll have a date?
It's so hard to predict what you're going to see in general.
We're going to get another trailer, if not at E3, definitely at the Game Awards. I mean, that's just, it's tradition now.
Jeff Keighley won't allow it. He will.
Jeff.
Yeah, you know what? That makes me think that won't happen more. Like, if there's going to be a release date, Jeff Keighley's going to want that on his stage because he's like his heterosexual.
Yeah, the bet is that there's going to be a release date, right? The bet is...
Huh? This is strictly a release date.
I don't think there'll be a release date. I think there'll be a trailer. I think there will be be first gameplay reveal.
I could see that, but still no release date. Jack? Counter? It's your pick, so...
I think you all put up pretty great pretty great points about like the Game Awards and there being so many other places that they could announce a release. I guess it just depends on how close that thing is to being done. Because I feel like if it's coming out this year in the fall / holiday season, then I think we're gonna see it here, and get that release.
I mean,
date.
yeah, you would have to.
See, I think it's gonna be
shocked if
2019
it came out this year.
Yeah.
I would be absolutely floored if they were like this fall.
But then again, it's Kojima, so you never know. That they could just not have a release date and then do that.
I guess. I mean, if we're looking at previous Metal Gear releases, that's never happened. But then again, it was with a different publisher, so maybe being with Sony, you can do some weird shit. But I don't know. I only have that to go by, and if history is any indication, that's not how that game will be released.
The only time there's like Metal Gear Solid 5 was only 2015, which is 3 years ago. The only time there's been a fast turnaround on a Hideo Kojima game was Metal Gear Solid 4 to Peace Walker, which was a PSP game. And that was 2010.
Yeah.
True.
The last time it was 3 years was Metal Gear Solid 2 to 3. 2001 and 2004.
Metal Gear Solid 3 was pretty solid, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's great. It's probably my least favorite numbered Metal Gear.
Oh, get off this podcast.
I was just...
Get off.
I was being silent because I didn't like your pun. So.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is my favorite game of all time, and I love Metal Gear Solid 3. It just... They're little things that keep it from being... Like, it's still a 10 out of 10, you know? But it's not... it's not 10 out of 10
it's not a solid
next
10
to
out of
its 10. Next to its peers. But that's a whole other discussion.
So
yeah.
So what's kind of like our hard vote for Death Stranding?
I'm gonna go no.
No.
I mean, we're gonna see something for it, but we're not gonna get a release date.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah. So
All right.
Yep. Looks like that's the death.
Oh my god.
It's like the death
it's
what?
Stranded, and there's its death.
Looks like the release date will continue to be Stranded.
Yeah, there you go.
Boo! Boo!
Yes.
Kind of on that same note of Death Stranding, the PSN name thing could also be announced at a later date. I could easily see it being at E3, but I could also very easily see them holding it off.
I see that for a
announcement.
PSX. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially if surveys went out as early as February, unless they've been working their asses off. But every time they've talked about, like, why they don't do it, they always make it sound like it would be a complete pain in the ass to rework the architecture of, like, PSN to make it happen. So, unless they pulled some wizard crap, it probably won't be, like, ready to be like, we were doing it. So I could cross that off.
All right.
Alrighty. Call of Juarez, I don't see with them getting the license back this early. I don't know. It seems too soon, especially with Dying Light being kind of like their kind of like big cloud looming over everything. Maybe next year, but I don't see it being this year that they even say anything about it since they just.
Do we know if Techland is going to be there at all?
They usually are. Because there is a new Dying Light thing that they're working on, like an expansion coming out. So, like, I mean, I saw them last year, and they only had to show like another expansion for it. And Techland has other stuff like Farming Simulator and crap, so they're always there.
Yeah.
Okay, so. If they have any stage presence, I would be shocked if they didn't say the words.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna have stage presence, but they'll be there.
They never do. Yeah, and if they do have stage presence, I would expect Dying Light over Call of Juarez, because Dying Light to me,
right? I wouldn't expect them to show it.
Wow,
but I want them to say the words.
And also, would you announce Call of Juarez in a year where Red Dead Redemption is coming out?
No.
David and Goliath.
Like even if it doesn't come out the same year, like I feel like if you're gonna announce any sort of new Western, you wait till Red Dead does its thing.
Well, but think of the memes. The meme would be John Marston kicking open
up
the barn doors with the words Call of Juarez above him, and then Red Dead Redemption 2 above the line of Pinkertons.
That's a straight up Microsoft move.
That would be like. That would be a...
May as well. Next you'll be telling me to announce
What's
it
the
on
term?
Xbox or something.
That'd be a baller move.
It's like, we announced a new Xbox and it's launching.
Oh my god! Well, they got one sale. I'm confident.
Yeah,
I'm safe.
I'm voting a hard
getting that
no
off the list, yes.
for...
No hard feelings.
Alright, we're just knocking these off now. Final Fantasy 15. So we got a few Square things. Now, Square, with there being a thing, like, it makes kind of all of their things likely, because they have to fill a press conference with something.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's Shadow of the Tomb Raider coming out. That's gonna be there. Final Fantasy VII Remake, maybe, sorta, kinda. Kingdom Hearts 3 for sure.
I don't think we're gonna see the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Like, even a
well,
mention
they scrapped all of the work that had been done on it so far. They're starting from scratch.
I think they're just gonna appease people and show something, but I don't think we're gonna get any solid like gameplay or release date or anything like that.
Maybe speak about it.
Yeah,
least,
I mean they
show.
kind of have to at least say
Hey.
something. Hey, we didn't forget.
We've got some concept art here.
Pretty much.
A PS4 port of Crisis Core.
I'd be mad because that means that's another thing that's gonna make
Type 0
like,
HD.
Stop announcing new things. Just finish the thing that you got. Just stop it. So, man, 15. It's weird because like I could totally see it happening. I just don't want to include it.
Wait.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
what's the
you can scrap it just because of that.
Like, what's the bet specifically?
It's
just that new crap,
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much.
Like we don't even know.
I think
it'll
that's,
never
I think
die.
that's
It's
a
even
really
hard to
safe
guess.
bet, though, because I think they said that they're going to have a standalone release of Comrades, and I think that will come with new content for Comrades. And
Are we like voting to keep it off just on like more principle?
Yeah, I'll vote it off for principle.
Like, is it almost
it's gonna
too
happen,
easy?
but let's just
if it's already been announced,
now.
it's kind of unfair.
It's almost like a foregone conclusion.
We'll put a pin in it if we're out of stuff.
Yeah, how many do we have solid
like
right now, Marcus? Is it 2?
Kingdom Hearts, it's sort of kind of. Cyberpunk is absolutely for sure. Kingdom Hearts, I thought we were
No,
still,
Kingdom
like,
Hearts, we put a pin in that.
Yeah, we kind of put a pin, but it's not like a...
We put a plaque in it at the base of the statue.
You guys agreed to put a pin in it, though.
No,
I said,
you just
No,
said
I
that.
didn't. You half wrote it, remember?
I wrote Kingdom, I left out
Yeah.
the hearts. I had the hearts in reserve somewhere.
Half-heartedly did it.
Whoa. Okay. Smash is kind of this. I think Smash is kind of the same as Final Fantasy 14, where it's like they're straight up doing like the entire booth is Smash Brothers. So like,
And it's
kind of
gonna
like a
have
little
wild
dove.
guns and everything that we said on the last episode that you should all listen to.
No, it won't. You should listen to that episode. It will absolutely.
Nobody
not
is
have bombs.
ever going to carve wild guns into the side of any mountain ever.
Marcus, I'm just doubling down hard on this so that when it actually happens, you will have to put together all the clips of everyone disagreeing with me, and then I'll get to listen to everyone eat their words.
Best case scenario, they're
I'm
an
not
assist
saying
trophy.
I won't be mad if it happens. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
I mean,
They're an
You're
assist
probably
trophy,
right.
but they come in Pokeballs because no one knows what they are, including the team in Smash.
Or at least if it does happen, this will not be the stage that it happens at.
I mean,
How's that? Like, if you're gonna announce any new character at E3, they are not the ones.
okay, but
you
let
show.
me just say one thing, and that is, who would have ever put the ice climbers in Super Smash Bros. Melee?
I mean, I'm not saying it's not like it's definitely weird and like plausible in a weird way, but again, like, think about Smash 4 when that was revealed at E3. The big new character was Mega Man, like this icon. Yep. So
I'm just
like,
saying,
to go from that to Wild Guns.
They've added a bunch of other things. I think Wild Guns will be obviously not the headliner. They're just going to be there. They're going to be in it.
I could see Wild Guns. Okay,
it's basically the headliner.
Just for fairness' sake, let's just pretend that I can see Wild Guns actually being in the game. So, given that, I absolutely cannot see the game being marketed with the line, Wild Guns are here. Like, the back of the box won't advertise Wild Guns.
No.
I mean, and to be fair, the box of the box never really does that.
If they
for
are
any
in the
character,
game, we will not find out until the game comes out.
Also, they definitely won't be advertised as Wild Guns are here, just because that's like somewhat controversial to market towards children. But like, I can see Quint and Annie are here.
Yeah, plus that's how they do all their reveals. Like, it's not like they say Kid Icarus is here when they revealed Palatuna. It's like, no, it's Palat, because it's more about the fighter than the game itself. Yeah. So it would definitely be Clint and Annie shoot 'em up or whatever they want to say.
Well, let's also pretend like I don't know those names. Nor does anybody.
Well, that's kind of the same for any character. Like, not everyone knows every character in Smash Brothers. There's always going to be
before the game came out, before Smash Brothers Melee came out, did anybody know Marth and Roy were going to be in it?
Well, nobody knew them in general because Fire Emblem hadn't come out.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're not going. So if they're in the game, they're not going to be at E3.
They'll be revealed later.
Yeah, they'll be revealed when the game comes out. They'll be like, oh, people will play it and be like, oh,
not when the game comes out. Just because just because Smash never saves people for the roster anymore. Like the last game, everybody got a trailer, so you knew everyone in the game before it came out.
I mean, I can see them getting like a little teaser, like from the
like everybody else, like the little character video. I'm just saying it won't be
exactly.
It'll be in a Nintendo Direct or something later on.
I mean, have you seen Nintendo's E3 presentations though? They're basically Nintendo Directs.
I'm just judging like the way the last Smash was revealed, where like the big reveal trailer was Mega Man, and then it was Mega Man, and then that same E3, though during the week and not like after the initial big reveal, they revealed Villager from Animal Crossing.
Yeah, what a heavy hitter.
I mean, Animal Crossing versus Wild Guns as a series, that's a bigger franchise.
Wild Guns just got a new game.
If Wild Guns gets
they didn't get a new game. They got an old game remastered.
It has a pedigree of decades.
If Wild Guns get their own trailer, it will not be at E3, it will be on like a Wild Guns fan site.
If Wild Guns got their own trailer, it would make me question what else they have to show. It would feel like bottom of the barrel already.
I mean, it is bottom of the barrel, Marcus. Who else is the top of the barrel?
To kind of start with that, it's like, oh, that doesn't bode well for the rest of the roster.
I don't think they're going to be on this mountain.
No, I don't think so either. Naomi?
I mean, I don't know Wild Guns.
Nobody
so
does.
That's pretty much a no, then.
That's a pretty good indicator.
But did anyone know Ice
feel.
Climbers? Did anyone know Ice Climbers?
Did Ice Climbers get a giant E3 reveal?
Do little kids know who Pac-Man is?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
They
Pac-Man
sell
has
them
a
on
cartoon
shirts
show.
at like Walmart, so.
He also has a cartoon show.
I've never played
from, like,
Pac-Man.
I mean, you don't have to play it. You just have to know who he is.
No.
Pac-Man
That's
is
a
way
myth.
more
You didn't say.
known than Wild
First
Guns.
of all, you didn't say play. You just said awareness.
Yeah, I'm just okay. Fine.
I'm not confident that Wild Guns isn't just something that Jack made up to punk us all on this podcast.
You would recognize it if you like pulled up a picture or something.
I did,
pretty sure.
And I don't.
Well,
you would I think recognition.
If you said Lethal Enforcers, I'd be like, oh, okay, no. But this, I'm just like, this isn't real. You made this up.
Yeah. If it helps, I've already crossed off the list.
It does.
Marcus has spoken, man.
We can keep going. I've got more shtick.
So we have a few left. So the ones that we have left, we've got the Pokemon RPG full reveal plus date. we kind of sort of have Kingdom Hearts.
No, we definitely have.
Marcus, it is on the list.
Okay, fine, it's on the list. So Kingdom Hearts is on the list. It's gonna. All right, so we have 2 slots in. All right, Pokemon RPG full reveal date. We've got the Avengers getting its full reveal. We've got Resident Evil 2 remake getting its full reveal. We haven't talked about this yet. We have Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey getting its full reveal on Microsoft stage specifically, and then we have the new Xbox. So let's talk about Ancestors, because we haven't touched that at all. What do you guys think about that?
I do not think that's likely.
Xbox is
it more
in need of exclusives, so that's the only reason why I think it could happen, but I hadn't heard of this game yet, and I don't know. Xbox seems like it would need heavier hitters, but it could be, just one little game, a little blip on their conference.
What about you,
Well,
Zach?
I'm actually currently, right this second, looking at a Variety headline from April 20th. Assassin's Creed creator discusses prehistoric Ancestors game. He gave an hour-long speech at the Reboot Develop conference.
Yeah,
And I can see this game being at E3. I don't see Microsoft scooping it up. I see Microsoft going, it's too weird for us, pass. I think they're desperate, but not for that.
I don't know. That's got a pedigree behind it. Like, hey, we got the Assassin's Creed creator's first new game as an independent developer. That's pretty big. Especially for a game, like I said, that has made a big splash and has been very quiet since then.
This is what I think about with Xbox.
So the kind of brag about, like, we got that game!
With Xbox, I see that one E3 where they had a picture of Marcus Phoenix's face and a picture of Master Chief's face and a picture of Lara Croft's face. And they were like, this is Xbox. And they needed Lara Croft on there because that's how few games they had. And with something like that, like, they wanted mascots. They wanted faces of Xbox. Whose face are they going to put on for this game? There's no face. And Microsoft they're not interested in that.
I will also, well, in my defense, Microsoft, given that they are in a distant second, have shown that they're not afraid to go weird routes because they kind of have to get ground where they can. Because they've done, before they were canceled, they were going to do Scalebound, which was it's kind of in the same boat of like, hey, we're going to publish Platinum's new crazy thing. Because, Platinum's a big deal, right? Devil May Cry creator, you like him? Well, he's making a brand new game for us only. And you ride dragons and crap. That's crazy. Also, we're bringing back Phantom Dust. Remember that game that 3 of you played for the original Xbox? We're bringing that back. Isn't that crazy? Sony's not doing it. And Fable Legends? Isn't that crazy? 4 players. You want to do that? So, like, I think that this seems like something that would be up their alley.
All of those games that you mentioned got canceled.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that. I mean, that has no bearing on this. I mean, they have shown the willingness to be like, yeah, we'll take some big thing because we need something that makes you turn heads.
They did it.
Or even
but
think
they're
about
not
like
doing that. They changed their mind.
Well, I mean, I'm not. Well, I mean, this is more of a Tomb Raider case of like they're not directly publishing this; they're just going to get timed exclusivity for it. We're like, hey, this pretty anticipated game, especially again, it's almost like in a Beyond Good and Evil 2 thing of like we know this is happening and it sounds ambitious, we just haven't seen much of it. So like for them to be like, oh, we have it and here it is. Also, you can only play on an Xbox for a while at least, like a PUBG thing. Well, I mean, PUBG is more of a breakout hit, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they didn't buy it until it became a trend.
That doesn't sound out of the realm of possibility for them.
I don't see Microsoft taking a chance like that. I think that they're in a position where they only want the sure bets.
They're not publishing it, but they're not publishing it though. They're not.
But they are
money.
throwing money to get timed exclusivity.
Saying, hey,
how much money do you think they gave Square for Tomb Raider for a whole year?
They probably won't give as much because Tomb Raider is like an established franchise and it's a sequel to a game that released on everything. So they had to incentivize, like, why would we not do that again? At least this is a new IP. So it's unproven. You know what I'm saying?
I wish you hadn't have tacked the Xbox exclusivity to this. Otherwise, it would already be on the mountain.
So you guys think it'll show up at the very least?
I don't know.
I mean, that's a question in its own, Mark. Are you stretching?
That sound is like my reaction to this entire pick. No offense, Marcus.
No.
I just find it unlikely that it's going to be at E3, and I find it even more unlikely that it's going to be an Xbox exclusive.
What is it up against? God.
Just want to make that clear. It's very different. It's up against the new Xbox, the Pokemon RPG full reveal plus release date, the Avengers Game full reveal, and Resident Evil 2 full reveal.
See, I feel like it doesn't even compete against those guys.
Even the new Xbox? You expect a new Xbox over?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really? Really?
Even though I said no to it, yeah.
I think the next Xbox is a bad choice, but it's a good bet.
Like it.
I like how you guys are basically saying that Microsoft's really stupid.
Well, I don't
like
think
you're betting on their stupidity.
No, I'm just saying the likelihood is higher.
But I think with Ancestors, it's not stupid to go, no, you can put it on everything. We don't need it just for us.
Even Switch. I mean, depending on its graphics, it could be a game that could be palatable.
I mean,
for that
it would
audience.
be it would be stupid in the sense of Phil Spencer and Xbox as a whole kind of needing to scoop up as many games as they can if they're not going to just publish their own crap. So,
yeah,
you know
like
what I mean?
Nintendo and Sony both do that.
But are you saying that they should do that? Like they should pick up Ancestors, but they won't out of a dumb stupidity?
Well, I think that Ancestors is a really big risk. It could be huge.
At the same show that they decide to announce the new Xbox.
Oh man!
Like it's just a showcase of like questionable.
Well,
ideas.
Microsoft has taken those risks, and they haven't always paid off. Alan Wake was a critical hit. I love that game. Didn't move mountains. Same with Quantum Break. You know, they'd rather do Gears of War 5, something that they know is going to make them X amount of money, than something that could fail or could break out.
As a counter argument, would it matter at this point? They're so far behind that there's next to nothing that's going to like light the fire for them to catch Sony up. So they can kind of do what they want at this point because they're going to be second place.
Right. So why waste the money?
You know what I mean? So if they're trying, because it'll still, it'll still turn heads. Like, but they're not. They're at the point where like, because Halo and Gears aren't what they used to be, and those are their two surefire bets, especially Halo. So like, if Halo's not going to do it, then nothing is. So at this point, you may as well just grab all the cool looking stuff that you can to get some eyeballs on you, and not be misguided enough to think like, well, this isn't going to be like Fortnite. We need Fortnite numbers. This is going to be the game. Like, no, like you're not going to get that with this. So just get something that's going to make your platform more appealing from like an exclusive standpoint. Like we have this unique experience that you can only get on Xbox, not so much the next blockbuster, because they don't have that anymore.
They do have Game Pass too that they have to fill out.
I mean, this wouldn't be Game Pass because I think Game Pass is only like Microsoft published stuff, and Ancestors has its own publisher.
Okay, another strike against it.
Because this was, like I said, this was straight. Well, would it be? Because this was straight up be like it would be the exact same thing that they did with Tomb Raider. Of like, hey, we got a game that's already published. We're just getting the exclusivity. That's all.
All right, let's vote.
How many Xboxes did Cuphead sell?
I mean, probably
4.
So it's not worth the investment.
But it's a very different. It's a very different kind of game from like a scale standpoint.
And this is a very different kind of game because no one knows what kind of game it is.
But it's got a bigger pedigree. It's like, hey, the guy that made Assassin's Creed, this is his new thing.
12 years ago.
He still made the series. I mean, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is being made by a guy like, hey, remember that first Beyond Good and Evil from like 2 generations ago? And that's got a lot of hype. Yeah, but it was a sequel to a cult hit.
And it's not going to be
Okay, we're going to vote now. All right, Jack, what you think?
No.
And Zach?
Nope.
Naomi? Nope. All right.
Naomi's sister. Which...
I don't think any of us are going to be invited back to the next podcast.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I mean, I already have. Yeah, I mean, I already have to share a room with all of you. So.
I've ruffled Marcus's jimmies on more than one time.
Nice phrasing.
All right, so we have 4 picks left. So 2 of these are going on. So one more time: Pokemon RPG, big coming out party date. Avengers, big coming out party. Resident Evil 2 remake coming out party. And a new Xbox. The new Xbox is the least likely to happen of these. I'm just going to say that. Of these 3, come on.
I think Avengers is the least likely. I think that
Avengers over Pokemon, which we don't know. I mean, we don't know anything about Avengers, but like...
Can I amend Pokemon that will just see a trailer?
Wait. No, that's very different than what you said. Because otherwise I would have meant answers like, well, it's not exclusive to Xbox then. It's just going to be
I know. Just thought I'd try.
See, you should have voted for answers. Help you out.
Yeah, this gets a little political in here. You gotta make some backroom deals to get your picks on a Rushmore.
Goodness.
There's some under the table dealings going on.
I say no to Avengers because of Spider-Man.
What about Spider-Man?
That is the Marvel thing for right now.
I'm not saying... Well, it doesn't have to release the same year. It's just saying, like, hey, this is what this is. And also, if Marvel doesn't care about releasing multiple superhero movies in one year, I doubt they'll care about showing 2 games.
Well, it takes 2 hours to watch a Marvel movie. It'll take 20, 30,
They're
40,
releasing 3
50
movies
hours
this year
to play Spider-Man.
Also, Infinity War's out. Like, why would you... That would be almost borderline dumb to not be like, hey, y'all hot in this shit? Well, look at what we got here.
See, I don't think Spider-Man really matters in this case. I think...
It's a different publisher, too.
I think they're both pretty well established on their own.
Yeah, and very separate.
Yeah.
I still think it's too early. I think that the deal was just announced last year. I don't think they have a vertical slice yet.
It doesn't have to be like a video. It's just like a full like, hey, this is what kind of game this is, and this is what
I think the best we've got is some guy
literally
talking
we
and
know
another pre-rendered trailer that shows nothing.
Yeah, because we literally know nothing about it.
I think that's the most we can hope for.
Other than, I mean, again, Square doing a press conference for the first time in 3 years. That's telling.
Yeah.
Well, they've got that Final Fantasy 15 prequel to announce. The Adventures of Regis.
Oh, God.
Nah. I honestly think it'll be there, and that'll be the last thing that they show. If it's not Final Fantasy VII Remake, then that'll be the big thing that they show. Save till the end.
And I'm only going to support this because of all the Avengers hype this year. It would just make financial sense. And since Square's doing their own big conference, they need that showstopper, and that could be it. So I'll throw a yes there.
Yeah, that's kind of why I've been leaning yes on Avengers, just because...
Because you're taken in by the hype.
Well, no, but a little... I just think that there is a very limited window for when they can actually release an Avengers game, and it would be before Avengers Part 2, or the Infinity War Part 2 comes out. So it would make sense to have that Avengers game that has the full cast of characters that we have now to come out relatively soon, and seeing that at E3 makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it'll show a release date. I'm just saying like this will be like the actual like info dump of what it is.
Okay, yeah, I can get behind that.
So
I'll say yes, but I think that I'll say yes because I can see which way the wind is blowing, but I think that you are expecting too much.
Okay. Are we so... Okay. I'm gonna put that on
pre-rendered trailer at most.
Sure. Okay, 3 left, 1 slot. Pokemon RPG reveal, Resident Evil 2 remake reveal, new Xbox.
Resident Evil.
This is actually, I don't know. Resident Evil and Pokemon are kind of on the same level of likelihood to me.
I would say yes if the Resident Evil 2 remake announcement came last year.
I still say both are more likely than
I
Xbox.
think that we can knock Xbox off.
I mean, I think Xbox could if we're gonna build a Rushmore on the dreams and possibilities of the future, I think a new Xbox is both the most likely thing and the biggest thing that you could put on the Rushmore.
Yeah, but that's not a dream; it's a nightmare. It's not gonna work out.
Are you really going to be watching that briefing, fully expecting to hear about a new Xbox, like a full-on new Xbox? Like you're going to be expecting it, not even like thinking about it, but like, oh, they're totally going to do that, and then be surprised when they don't.
mean, if someone were offering me odds in like a casino to put money on it, I think it'd be like 10-1, and so I'd put some money down. You put $100 on that, because if it comes back, you got yourself $1,000. It's probably not going to happen, but I would put it at like a 10% chance of it happening.
Do you think it's more likely than more Pokemon news?
No,
but I do think that it is within the realm of possibility, and I think it is one of the more interesting options.
I can see Phil Spencer going on stage and feeling, hey everybody. So, how many of you bought the new Xbox One X? Show of hands. Lots of applause. Well, woo! Okay, well, throw that shit in the garbage.
Well, let me shit all over your purchase.
Kick it.
well, you guys are suckers.
Drop it off the roof and into the garbage. Because we've got something else for you to buy.
I mean, that alone makes me more certain that whatever comes next is not going to have backwards compatibility, because they want people to feel like their purchase was not in vain.
I'm gonna say no.
I don't know if I don't think that's the feeling people would get.
Yeah.
I think it'd be anger.
I agree, but
I don't think I feel like, oh, my purchase feels justified.
But when has a company ever felt bad about taking money and then immediately obsoleting the product a year later?
The problem is that Microsoft isn't in much of a position.
Let me answer your question.
Make a mistake like that. Maybe Sony is in a position to be that bold of like, hey, we're winning anyway, we can do what we want. Microsoft has to be very careful what they do now.
And what are they going to release with it? I mean, they don't have
that's the thing.
A shoe-in franchise.
They've spent this entire generation trying to win back goodwill.
I mean, I think they have the reason we've seen kind of a lack of software for this platform might be because they are building up a library of things that they can launch on whatever the next console is.
I think you're giving them too much credit.
Yeah, that's also a terrible excuse for like not having games. So it's like, oh, so you've been purposely holding out on us?
Yeah, basically.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that makes you feel pretty crappy about having Xbox One. Like, so you guys could have done something. So you've purposely devalued my purchase by holding out.
They made longer-term investments with the idea that it would be coming out on a different console.
Oh man. Okay.
Nah,
I want
that
you
doesn't
to be
hold
my
weight.
PR guy, Jack.
Sony and for
finance guy.
Spin Dr. Jack over here.
All right. So can we vote?
Are we voting? So since we have 3, this is kind of more of a debate of which one of these are we getting rid
Okay.
of.
So I'm gonna vote against Resident Evil 2 just to get rid of it off the list.
Oh really?
I think that Resident Evil 2 is more likely than Pokemon.
I think I go more Pokemon, because at least Pokemon has, it's been Resident Evil's gone so many years not being shown. It wouldn't surprise me to see them totally
Resident Evil's gone so many years without being shown because they were waiting for them to have something to show.
Or even talked about.
I think Capcom is having a great year. Monster Hunter World is their best-selling game ever, beating Resident Evil 5. And the best way to top that momentum is to announce Resident Evil 2 for a release date, Halloween, or some Raccoon City relevant date. Actually, the game is set in 1998, I think in September. So if they release it 20 years to the day after it is set, announce that at E3, you have the whole summer. Capcom has a new best-selling game of all time.
I don't know about that, but
I can see Resident Evil 2 remake outselling Monster Hunter.
No.
Especially not in Japan. Not in Japan. Monster Hunter's god over there.
Yeah, Monster Hunter. It's transcendent.
It won't even outsell Monster Hunter in its own country, let alone the world.
Yeah, but the best-selling game, their best-selling game before Monster Hunter was Resident Evil 5. They're both AAA.
It's not a new game.
Here, Monster Hunter was a surprise breakout hit. I don't even think Capcom was aiming for mainstream success with Monster Hunter World, and I think that they were surprised by how successful it turned out to be. So they had Monster Hunter World, which was a risk, which paid off, and they had Resident Evil 2 in their back pocket, insurance in case Monster Hunter didn't do well. But if it did, then they have a 1-2 punch like most publishers would dream of. The numbers pan out.
Like looking at these last three, it's really hard because there's strong arguments against all. And I think
it's just too early for Pokemon. I want all three. Well, no, I don't want the Xbox one, but I want. Hold on, what are the two that we have up there? Cyberpunk and.
We have three. We got Cyberpunk, Kingdom Hearts, and Avengers.
I would swap Kingdom Hearts.
We're not swapping. No. We're not going backwards.
Well, I want to put Resident Evil and Pokemon. If I could only put one, I would put Resident Evil.
Kingdom Hearts is more likely to happen.
I would swap Pokemon with Avengers. I would drop Avengers and put those two up there because Avengers also was only announced a year ago. All they had was a pre-rendered trailer and the word that Crystal Dynamics was doing it.
That's more than Pokemon had. Pokemon had a dude just saying it existed.
Oh, by the way, we're making the game.
Yeah.
But, the reason why I'm so sure about Pokemon is because it is Pokemon. It's going to make them money, and it's a Switch, and it's just a recipe that is going to spell out money, so it's happening.
There's no, like I said, there's no debating that it'll be. I'm just wondering if it's to the scale that you said of the big here it is. This is what you're getting, guys, and also here's when it's coming. That I think you might have overshot your expectations a little bit.
I really think it's too soon. I think if Pokemon is shown this year, it will look like Pokemon Sun and Moon Plus. If we want Pokemon Breath of the Wild,
they kind of already did that.
You have to wait another year.
Out of those two, I think I'm going to side with Resident Evil 2 just because.
What do you mean 3? Oh, you mean the 2 that isn't yours?
Out of the two that we've been talking about, Pokemon and Resident Evil 2, I think Resident Evil 2, the way that it's been described in its nomination, fits closer to what I think will actually be at E3.
Let's do a hard vote in terms of which of these three to cut. So, Jack, which one of these three would you cut?
I would cut Pokemon.
Naomi, which would you cut?
Resident Evil.
Zach?
I would cut Xbox.
Damn it.
If you're gonna cut Xbox, I'm cutting Resident Evil.
Well, then I'm cutting Pokemon. Sorry.
Wait, are you actually?
Resident Evil 2 is going up on that mountain.
Are you?
Claire and Leon back to back.
I mean, I'm technically the tiebreaker here,
You
I
are,
guess.
Marcus.
I'm cutting.
I'm
cutting
cutting.
Pokemon.
I actually didn't expect that.
Okay.
Claire and Leon back to back are on that mountain.
Wait, are you actually? You're not going to cut Xbox? You're cutting?
Well, I'm cutting both of
Pokemon?
them. I'm Resident Evil 2. That.
I mean, you can only pick one. Like, of these three, which one do you think is the least likely to happen?
I really gotta say, I don't want Xbox to happen, but I think that it's more likely to happen than Pokemon. So I'm cutting Pokemon.
Yes.
Just you're silent. Man, this isn't gonna help us, but I don't see the new Xbox. I just don't.
Okay, so we're tied. What do we do?
So wait, what are we at? Who? Well, one. There's only one vote for what? Resident Evil.
Yeah. Well, we're
And then two for Pokemon.
Yeah.
So wait, so I guess Pokemon goes because that has two and the other two
Okay.
have one.
Goodbye,
I'm not gonna
Pokemon.
cry about
Sorry,
it.
Pokemon. Okay.
Now-
Resident Evil, new Xbox.
I can't believe
I'm voting
Avengers
Xbox.
is on that mountain.
I would say Resident Evil 2 is something that we know is
I'm
happening.
voting for Xbox because it's go big or go home time.
Yep, same. If we're gonna do
I'm
this, we're
voting
doing
Resident
it.
Evil.
We gotta have like the risk.
I'm voting
We gotta have
Resident
the
Evil.
risk
Oh my
taker.
God.
This is our Teddy Roosevelt.
There is not going to be a new Xbox. I'm just gonna say
There
that. It's-
could be,
It won't
but
be,
it
though.
could be, and I think there are
But
indicators that
but
point
there's-
towards that being true.
But the could is stronger with Resident Evil 2 getting its actual big reveal.
I mean, that
Resident Evil 7 is out of the way now. So they have a wide
do
open
you
window
think
of like, all right,
Capcom's
here's
gonna
our
be working
next...
on it themselves though?
I don't care who's working on it. They're just going to show it. And probably yes, because they've worked on... Like, when have they ever outsourced Resident Evil?
Like some of the remakes, maybe.
I don't... Was the first game like the GameCube remake? That wasn't...
I don't remember.
I thought that... I've always assumed that was them. I don't remember... I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was still just them. But regardless of... It doesn't really have any bearing in terms of, like, if they just show it for the first time. 'Cause we've never
Mikami
seen it.
directed the Resident Evil remake, right?
Probably. He was, I don't know if he directed it. He was... I think he was...
You know, I
involved
think
for
I mean
sure.
this Resident Evil 2 is not just a remake. It's a remake in the way that the first Resident Evil remake was a remake, where
I mean, we don't know. They literally haven't said
I'm being
what the nature of the
aspirational.
remake, like the extent of it. Okay. Like, I mean, the easy thought is that it's just going to be like the GameCube remake, but they've never said the scope of the remake, so it could be it could just
like
be
it will
that,
be like that,
or it could be something even
like
even
aspirationally it will be
They
like
could- they
that,
could-
but you know, on a whole other
more. Like
level, it'll be
realistically,
a
I
remake
guess.
in the way that the Resident Evil remake was a remake, in that it took the foundation and
Yeah,
built
it could,
you know, a whole new thing on top of it.
yeah, like it just cleaned up the existing, like, because the Resident Evil GameCube remake is the same.
No,
game,
it's
just
totally not.
quality of life. I mean, in terms of like the design, like it's still the same. Like the house is laid out the same. It's the same style of gameplay. They cleaned up like the actual controls, especially like the most recent like PS4 version of it, where you have like
Yeah,
the
the new control scheme
but it
sucks.
plays the same. I mean, it plays like a normal game, but you know, it's the same. It's not like it's not like the Final Fantasy VII remake where like, oh, we're changing like the fundamental design of this game.
Well, that's the thing,
It's
is
not
that
like
with Resident Evil 2, we don't know. Right.
That's what
But
I'm saying.
even,
but
I would argue that the
I mean-
Resident Evil remake is in the middle. It's in between what we expect from the Final Fantasy VII remake and what you are saying that it is. I think that it is not
Yeah.
giving enough credit to the Resident Evil remake and how great it is to say that it is
even
what you were describing it as.
yeah, I mean, regardless of what it is, but I mean, the argument is just that if they're going to show it or not.
Okay.
And I feel
I think
like
that they
that is
will,
more, that is the
because
safer,
September
more
29th,
likely thing.
1998 is when Resident Evil 2 is set. They announce it at E3. That gives them the whole summer to go Resident Evil bananas.
Yeah, I mean that's like that's a decent reason, but like the big reason over like a new Xbox is that one, that game is long overdue
3 years
for showing, and a lot of the reason for that is because 7 was in production and being hyped at the time. Now that that's
right,
done,
and that whole time they weren't diverting resources from Resident Evil 2. They were just working quietly while Resident Evil 7 was in the limelight. Resident Evil 7 was soaking it up. It was rebooting the series from a gameplay perspective.
Much like the Xbox One X.
No. No, because...
Let's look at
if Resident Evil 2 were DLC for Resident Evil 7, then I would agree with you.
Like Resident Evil 2, a game that's overdue, that we know for a fact is in production, for them to show it now that they have no other Resident Evil projects in the window right now, and again, it's overdue,
and they are
for its
riding
showing
high on the momentum of Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, and even the momentum of 7.
Their stock is really going up.
And so, like, this seems the perfect time to finally, for the first time, let us see what that game looks like. And it makes more sense to me than Microsoft suddenly coming out and being like, hey, next generation, here.
Okay, but we seem to be at an impasse, because we have 2 votes for each. So what do we do in the case of a tie?
We keep on fighting.
We don't tie on the show. All right. I mean, I feel like you guys haven't really given a strong argument that really convinces me that outside of it'd be big, but also, well, yeah, it'd be big. It'd be
big,
dumb,
reckless,
but it'd be
and dumb.
big.
Yep.
But like,
Vote
but what?
How do
again,
you
like,
how do you secure a larger?
I feel like I've argued more. Like, I feel like my arguments against it have been stronger than your arguments for it, in terms of like the X is not even a year old. Phil Spencer and like the Xbox team seem a lot more careful with how they're kind of like how they're guiding the Xbox at this point. I feel like next year maybe, but this year doesn't seem like the year to announce a new Xbox.
I think this is the year that they tease the Xbox. The official announcement is next year, where they go into like all the specs and everything. This year, all I'm saying is they're gonna have like that quiet moment at the end of the conference where they bring a weird box on stage, and then they show a trailer for a very important game, whatever that is.
Okay, why is that more likely than Resident Evil 2?
I just think that the trend of Xbox's releases have been going towards that they have something else going on. I mean, that's the only...
I mean... That's not answering the question.
I'm voting for anarchy.
I'm not even arguing.
That's where I'm voting.
I'm not even arguing why it's likely, but why is it more likely than Resident Evil 2?
Again, I think it's the trend of the releases. I think that it is a perfect time for Microsoft to make those waves and build that hype. It's been 5 years since they released their last official jump up in console tech, and it's nearing the time where you would begin to be like, hey, this is the new console. And I can see them in a desperate bid to, claw back more of their market share, doing something unexpected. And I think that that's what this will be.
But that's more likely than Capcom showing this remake for the first time?
I think that Capcom is going to be focused on nostalgia this year with
Resident Evil 2?
with Mega Man. And like Mega Man is their boy. It's their little baby child.
You know,
but Mega Man's not going to move Monster Hunter units.
So if you're focused on this, so you're focused on
going to move Monster Hunter units either.
Mega Man is going to move more than.
I mean,
Resident
Mega Man
Evil.
isn't either.
Yeah, but
no,
Mega
not.
Man is a cultural icon in a way that transcends games in a way that Resident Evil doesn't. Really?
At least Resident Evil 2 doesn't.
Did they make? Wait, what?
Mega Man has not. Mega Man's an icon, but it hasn't had a consistent release the way Resident Evil is a legit blockbuster in terms of like cultural identity.
Yeah, you didn't see the 6 Mega Man movies?
They've never gone. Yeah, they've also never had like a dry period of releasing those games. Like, how long have we waited for a new Mega Man? And it's not, and it's a classic style Mega Man. Like, I refuse to believe that in terms of mainstream.
I'm not saying
like,
that Mega Man's more mainstream. I'm saying Mega Man's more important to Capcom and like their identity as a developer / publisher.
I disagree.
Is it? If it was, why did they wait so long to make a new Mega Man? And why did they cancel so many of them?
For Mega Man 11,
but they've never.
I hope that it's really good. But the thing is, it looks like
me too. I love Mega Man.
It looks like a lower budget game. It doesn't look like we've got Monster Hunter World.
I mean, not low, but it looks like. I mean, it's not, but it's another one of those. It's another Mega Man, which is fine, because I love Mega Man. I'm just saying that Resident Evil, as a series, is a bigger blockbuster series than
Mega Man 11 looks like they have their expectations in check. They're not overspending.
Especially coming off of 7, and also it's a remake of kind of, at least generally kind of considered the best game
and
of
what
that
is
old
it's considered one of the greatest games ever made. By a great many.
Like, and again, if you say that Capcom's focused on nostalgia, sure, they got Mega Man, why would they just not do Mega Man? Why not just be like, oh yeah, and also this other old game that you love that we said we were working on, we're going to show it to you now.
I mean, look, they've had a lot of releases for this game. It's come out several times over the years, and I'm just...
2?
Yeah.
When? They've only
did a GameCube remaster.
Released like...
Yeah, they did.
This is the first remake it's ever got.
They did a GameCube port. Oh, it's not a remaster, it was a port.
No, literally... No, they've
did.
never done... Like, literally, this is the first time they've ever touched 2. In terms of, like,
they did a port. They've ported Resident Evil 2 to PC and Dreamcast and N64.
Yeah.
But and the GameCube version is just a port.
Thing.
It's a port with a slightly higher resolution because the GameCube has higher resolution.
Yeah.
But
Plus,
it's a remaster.
People have been begging for them to remake this game since they did the GameCube one because of how good that was. They're like, oh, do 2 next, and then now they're finally doing it. But I
don't.
The timing feels more right than the timing for a new Xbox.
I just don't see it happening. And I don't see it getting people super pumped, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm really wrong.
But that's why
I feel like you're really underselling Resident Evil 2's popularity.
I mean, I'm not. It could also be I'm not a big Resident Evil person. So
I was like, there's a reason why people notice when that game skips an E3. It was like, when are we gonna fucking see that thing?
I mean, at this point, I feel like I want to concede because we're in hour 3. Just saying. So, fine. It's not an honorable win, but I'll give it.
A win's a win. So Resident Evil 2.
Claire and Leon back to back. It's going to be Capcom's best-selling title.
Right. Yes. Yeah, air high five, Zach.
I'm not in that high five.
You get a acknowledging nod. Like a good. I appreciate your patronage. So that was really the point. Was like, if I can argue Naomi into submission,
Jesus.
more so than anything.
I conceded on a lot of my picks. I wasn't going to give in on this one.
Alrighty, so we did it. We've completed the endurance run that was this final discussion and maybe this episode as a whole. But everyone had a lot of really good predictions for the most part. So yes, if you're still alive after listening to all of that, here are our final 4 predictions for E3 2018 that we believe are the most likely to go down. And we have got Kingdom Hearts 3 getting a fall release date and also introducing a Star Wars and or Marvel world. We have Cyberpunk 2077 getting its big coming out party. We've got the Avengers Game by Crystal Dynamics getting a full reveal. And we have the Resident Evil 2 remake getting a full reveal. Ta-da!
Ba-da.
So, on the week of June 12th to June 14th, we will be in Los Angeles, and we will be, we'll have first kind of like front row tickets to see whether or not this goes down. It'll be hilarious if everything we didn't say happened and everything we did say
They're going to
happen.
open with Mega Man Legends 3.
I am going to expect you to eat an actual hat if they announce the Xbox.
I mean, I would, even if we didn't do it, I would eat my hat in general because I would not expect that, regardless of whether or not there was any sort of bet associated with it. So it doesn't matter. So yeah, to kind of
That
wrap
is
up
an
this
announcement that
marathon
would cause
episode.
Microsoft stock to drop.
Yep. Like, I would expect Phil's shirt to actually catch fire from all the heat that he would be getting from the
Like,
crowd.
the camera will cut to, like, Shuei Yoshida laughing. Going, oh my god, no, they didn't!
Sure.
Oh my god, no!
They're doing it again. Alright, guys. Well, Jack, where can they find you on social media to where they can agree with you or disagree about a new Xbox
You can
happening?
find me
And-
at Riverboat Jack.
You're gonna get some Resident Evil 2 tweets.
Okay. Riverboat Jack. Alrighty. And again, we'll be there with Extra Life for E3, so please stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff going up that week. And we're all going to be half dead doing it, so you better read all of it. Okay. And Naomi Lugo, where can I find you and what you got going
You can
on?
find me at Naomi and Lugo. And yeah.
Alright. And
Yeah.
Gotcha. Your new clothing. And we're all so tired. and Zach, what you got? Where can I
You
find
can
you? What
find
you got
me
going?
at my name, Zak Wojnar, Wojnar. Although you say it like it has an E, but it actually has an A. And that's my Twitter. I'll tweet about songs I've been listening to. Aneka, real good stuff. I'll be tweeting about movies that I see. I just got Coco from Netflix. I'll be tweeting
I
about
heard good things.
Okay.
I've heard good things, and I should have seen it. My mama wanted to see it, because we are Latin. A lot of people don't believe me when I say that, but it is true. I'm first generation on my mom's side.
Neat.
I know, right? We're so diverse. We're a good
Okay.
group.
Wow. Gotcha. Okay. And for me, myself,
Marcus is going to
Marcus,
gloss right over that.
we are all like I said, it is late o'clock right now if you're listening, so we are all half insane. So you can find me at Marcus Stewart 7. That is the number 7 on Twitter. You can also follow me on my personal website, marcuswritesabouutgames.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on my YouTube channel of the same name, minus the wordpress.com, of course. You can also check me out occasionally on gaminghistoria.com. You can sometimes find me on extralife.com.
A lot of .coms.
and, yeah.
And actually, Extra Life is a .org.
Oh, is it is it?
Extra-life.org.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever noticed the .org. Well, it's time to wrap up this podcast so that everyone can go to bed.com. .sleep. Whatever. But thanks for listening as always, guys, and stay tuned for E3 so we can see whether or not these predictions pan out. And until next time, we'll see you soon in Los Angeles. Bye-bye.
Meet 3.